The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart, updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. The game changer is here. Card Ladder.
Sorry guys, technical difficulties. There he is. There we go. It's Chris, it says waiting for you. I don't know what that means.
Yay.
If I don't like accept it right away, it puts you in like a weird like waiting room thing.
Huh. That's weird.
Anyways,
I figured out how long you can go live on Instagram Live, by the way, because I was watching breaks the other night until 4:30 in the morning.
oh my god, how long is it?
You can go live for 4 hours, I believe, is the new limit.
Challenge accepted.
Christina's like, oh shit.
You showed me one of those questions today, and I was like, that's like an hour 4 question.
Right. David, shout out to David for his hour 4 question.
He knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, he does. All right, as we let people come in, I know we're a little bit late, but this is one of the most fun things about ripping wax and then just putting it all in a box and forgetting about it for 5 years or 4 years. Is then a guy like this suddenly starts going off. He has one preseason game where he scores like 27 points or something, and all of a sudden these are a $40 card raw. And
Who is it?
This is Christian Wood.
You better put those all on eBay immediately.
But I want to grade them so bad. I don't know why. I just like sending raw cards into PSA and grading them.
Yeah, in this case though, by the time you got them back as PSA 9s, they'd be worth $10.
Yeah, I know. You're right, dude. And that's what you were telling me the other day. I was like, I had a Darren Bush snakeskin, Prism snakeskin from 22. I was like, this should be like a $2 card. It's like 120, the only comp. And you're like, dude, if you don't sell that card now and you wait to get a PSA 10 back, it's going to be like $50 by the time you get it back.
Yeah, sadly. It's just kind of the reality of it. Like, especially when a new product comes out, eventually like it wears off.
I know. It does. No, it really does.
But Christian Wood's pretty good though, right?
He is good. He's very good. He is a big acquisition for the Rockets this free agency. So,
am I crazy to think that Harden's kind of a weirdo? Like, they've got some players. Like, what's he doing? They got Eric Gordon. They got John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins. They signed Christian Wood. Like, the team is like building something here, and he just wants to run off to crazy Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
I don't get it either. I think John Wall has looked pretty darn good in preseason. Like, I think Russell Westbrook, all due respect to Hustle Westbrook, but he was holding that team back more and he was helping them on balance. I just think like if that team is just prime for, a top 5 player to come in and make him a contender.
Yeah, it's that, man, because he's like showing up fat and like clearly like not engaged. Lame.
Yeah,
I think he's
that warm-up photo. Yeah.
It's gonna kill Harden's collectability. Like, man, they're it's kind of like the counterweight to Giannis this week, right? Like the guy who stuck around saying the right things. He's gonna stay like the alpha 1A on a championship contender, so his hobby value will hold quite a bit longer. But Harden, this is like the opposite.
Yeah, I know. And I do just find there to be something really likable and collectible about going about it the Giannis way and just
Yep.
kind of, riding with that team for at least give them, 2-3 contracts. Hey, if Giannis has been in the league for 10 years or 8 years and they still haven't done anything, who can blame them at that point? But I don't know. There's just something nice about that way of going about it. Okay. All right. So today is December 18th. Christmas Day is in 7 days. Congratulations to everybody out there who is now on vacation from work, right?
Woo.
That is terrific.
Yes.
Enjoy the break. It's the night of cards and claws, as Card
Yes.
Gem 23 says. Is that true? Is it a claw night?
It is. I will get the light here. Proof.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay. First of all, real quick, let me shill for our new YouTube show called Sports Cards Culture. If anybody had a chance to check that out, it's on our YouTube channel, the Card Ladder YouTube channel. Had a lot of fun making it. We have a really talented video producer who appeared briefly for segments of the show. Stiff Arm Wax is his hobby name. We just know him as Nick. And boom, there it is. So had a lot of fun making that show. It's a very different format than this one, obviously. On here, we go for 2 hours. That show is 21 minutes, highly produced, really fast-moving show. So check it out. Lots of great takes. Josh, how do you enjoy working on the different format where now you have just little sound bites where you got to squeeze in your take? How do you like it?
I like it. I like doing something different. Like the shorter takes is fun. I told you it was kind of fun to like be forced into saying something smart in a shorter time span. Like we were recording for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then we hop right off. Like it was very efficient and quick. And Nick's obviously like incredibly talented, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, honestly. And this format that we're doing tonight is kind of more my speed, but I really do enjoy the shorter format as well. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much the same for me. So, all right, but all right. So that's for the shorter attention span out there is the Sports Cards Culture, 21 minutes, 3 topics, formatted like a TV show. This is for those of us who, we can go a little bit more into the weeds. And so I'm going to bring up a topic. It's a sensitive topic. Obviously, all due respect to the hobby. But this topic is relevant right now, and it's probably going to become more relevant as, we get to become a bigger community and, we resort to lowest common denominator forms of entertainment. So CL Smooth 32, the great CL Smooth 32 writes in to say, please discuss card beef and hobby etiquette. And he was one of like 10 questions on this topic, and I just found his to be the most politically correct. So card beef and hobby etiquette, what do we want to say about these topics?
Ooh, I mean, we're obviously like referencing a specific video.
Right.
I mean, I guess I would just like start by saying like, being like courteous and nice to people around us in the hobby is like kind of like first and foremost, right? Like you kind of go into any deal or any conversation with positive intent. I say that about, everything, not just cards, but like assuming the person on the other end is a good person. That's usually a good start. I don't really know the specifics of maybe some of these beefs, so there could be more to it. So I don't really want to like, pick a side or say one person was out of line or anything, but I guess I'm not really a fan of the public shaming or scolding manner. Maybe that should be handled behind closed doors and, take these things private and discuss things amongst each other and then come up with resolution best you can.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that way everybody saves face. Nobody looks good when there's a feud. The hobby doesn't look good, although it is entertaining. We cannot deny that. The hobby doesn't look good. The parties to the dispute don't look good. But with that said, it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. Sometimes people are going to feel like they can only vindicate their point of view by taking it to the court of public opinion. It's going to happen. So I would just say at all times, preserve one's credibility. Try not to sling mud, and just, stick to the facts. And then people can make up their own point of view. Now, here's the thing. We all feel the need. Things get tense. We get upset, so forth. If you ever need somebody to beef with, Lamim James, he spares no victim. He will attack any player collector. Somehow he managed to make a meme that attacked Michael Jordan, Luka, and Bol Bol all at the same time somehow. Quite the feat. So Lamim welcomes all comers. He wants the smoke. So if you ever just need to beef with somebody, just go find a Lamim and take issue with it, and he'll be right there to fire shots back at you, maybe even make a meme and completely destroy you. So with that said, you will not win against Lamim, but he's always out there taking all comers. And then the other thing is, people just love their damn cards. That's the one thing about these beefs, right? It's just people just love dude, I find myself taking it so personally. If I'm involved in a deal and I've reached my capacity, somebody else is offering more, and I just take it very personally that I'm not going to be able to get the cards. Like, I completely understand how these beefs can happen, right? But people just love their damn cards. There's going to be beefs. It's going to happen, but all I can say is, from my point of view, I would just always try to think about the bigger picture, and I would just be very cautious before pushing that send button on anything public, right?
It's kind of like you can say whatever you want about me, but don't talk about my kids that way, kind of thing. Like, don't talk about my cards, man. You mess with my cards, we're gonna have a real problem.
Right. I know. And guys put a lot of work into making deals, and it just sucks when they fall through or when they can't happen. I mean, man, I know I've pissed off people in my day. It just happens. I apologize to all those people too, because I've been on both sides of that. It sucks when I'm the lucky one who gets the card in one instance, and then in another instance it was somebody else. So it's just how it goes.
There's so much money in the hobby today that some of this stuff is bound to happen. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. It's like you don't really want to say this to people in some cases, because it is so much money, and it's real money. It's not fake, but it's like, this is still a hobby, and you don't take it too seriously. But I understand when money's on the line, things can get a little bit heated. I don't know, man. It's supposed to be fun, like, we're supposed to be a community that's fun, and but I am all for us, like, weeding out the bad people and holding them accountable and getting them out. So if there's actual activity like that, feel free to stand up to somebody and ask for help, and make sure that you've discovered something where you're not the only one, and get the proper help. But if it's not that, then we're here to have fun.
That's so true. I like that point too. Sometimes there are just people who are just up to no good, and they need to be called out. And it takes courage to call people out. It's easy to just be non-confrontational. It takes courage to call out people who are doing wrong. And when you do it, the hobby needs to rally behind people who are calling out wrong. With that said, I've seen maybe like a half dozen beefs take place in the hobby over Instagram, face-to-face Instagram Live. I've never, ever seen one of these beefs get resolved on a face-to-face Instagram Live. It just doesn't work that way. Too much pride, too much ego. So just know that it's for the entertainment, it's for the clicks, it's for the views, right? So it is what it is. All right.
We got our new Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Shannon Sharp going, so you and I are going to start yelling at each other, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I guess so. I guess that's what the people want. Lefko is going nuts in the chat.
What's the
All right. I don't know. I'm just going to let people read that one. Okay. Oh, really? Maybe I can only see it or something, because sometimes that happens. All right.
We can see it.
Will he pin it?
Say that to my face at National 2023.
Right.
Not a regular night. Oh man. Okay, well the chat's having fun with it. We'll let those guys kind of keep going. We'll move on.
Yep. Congrats, guys. All right. So all right. The second most popular topic this week, got a handful of questions on it. Grails. People are thinking about Grails. Grails are on the mind. It was a potential Grail that caused that beef, I think, in fact. So Grails just the talk of the hobby, ripping people apart, causing issues. First of all, let me just send a shout out to Yam Wax for making the meme of the day. The ladder climbing meme. Hilarious ending, perfect ending. I don't know, do you want to say anything about that meme before I move on to the questions?
No, it was really funny. Just go to Yamwax page and watch his most recent post. It's hilarious.
It's awesome. Okay. K Dizzle's Cards has 3 questions. They're all of the same variety. He says, how do big deals happen outside of eBay? How do large sums of money change hands? And how do trades work?
Large deals like that are usually wire transfers between banks. It's pretty common. I've never done like a PayPal or seen a PayPal deal of that size, like Grail size or whatever, which is, a different monetary amount for everyone. But in this case, I think they're referring to, 5-figure and up deals. Those are usually wire transfers. What's the second half of the question?
Then he's like, it's like off eBay deals. How do large sums change hands? You just spoke to wires.
Well, it needs to be like, obviously, you guys need to know each other at least somewhat, or if not, give vouchers for each other. Like if you're both on Instagram, have the person, if you don't trust the other person or you're not sure, like have them post something that asks for other people to tell them they're legit, and just have like build a post and have a bunch of people comment on it, and then you can build up like, okay, this guy at least knows these 20 people, and you can find out what you have in common and who you both know and things like that to try to figure it out. Because there's not really like a return policy on a wire. Like that deal needs to be legit. You can't just like guess. You need to make sure.
Yeah. When a deal is getting into the mid and up 5 figures, I would probably take 3 or 4 days or 2 days and travel and do the deal in person. That's just my style. I would do cash. I've done this before. You go to the bank, you say, look, I'm going to need to take out this much money. You try to give them heads up so you just don't just come in and just do it. Like you might call in advance and say, I need to speak to a representative or a banker. I'm about to make a large withdrawal. You go in, you explain, you make this withdrawal. I'm purchasing a high-end item. I get the cash, and then I will go meet the person. And this alleviates 2 concerns. Number one, I don't have to worry about the card being shipped. And they don't have to worry about and I don't really have, honestly, both worries are on the end of both people, because they would worry about it shipping also. But then also I don't have to worry about, sending a wire, sending it to the wrong account, sending it to the wrong name. Not that stuff happens, but these are just my anxieties. So for me and Christina, we like to get the cash and then just meet the person. We'll go to where they are. That's always an option too.
If you're going to ship, please, for all that is holy, ship overnight FedEx. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. It has to be overnight FedEx. It has to be adult signature required, and you got to pay the $150 or whatever it costs to ship overnight across the country. Please do it. Trust me.
Yep. And for extra peace of mind, either insure that package, which is going to cost a boatload of money. So probably don't do that. The amount that it would cost to insure that package is probably on par with what it would cost to insure your entire PC, or maybe not quite, but close to what it would cost to insure your entire PC through someone like Collect Insure. So Just get insurance. Collect Insure covers shipments to and from you as long as there's signature required on the delivery. So these are very safe, logical ways to protect yourself. Hezi says, does FedEx cover insurance for super high valuable collectibles? Well, I've insured an item through FedEx for $20,000. This would have been a year or 2 ago, and it costs like $800 to insure it and ship it through FedEx. So like,
Don't do that.
yeah, just you don't need to do. You might as well just insure your entire PC at that point.
Yeah. I would look into the insurance route before you get to that point. Like you shouldn't be, your first deal shouldn't be to that point where you're like, oh crap, what do I do? I've never done it. You know, you should build up to it a little bit. And then if you are ready for that, start looking into insurance. While we're on this topic, I get asked about taxes and accounting a ton. And I just like cannot tell you guys anything other than please talk to a real accountant, preferably one within your state. But like the hobby is getting to a point now where like we all need to get accountants. It's just the reality. It's enough money now where like accountants need to get involved. We need to cover ourselves. We need professionals to help. Because I don't know all the tax laws. You don't know the tax laws. Each state has different tax laws. There's different tax laws for collectibles than there are versus regular income. There's like, you know, if you're a dealer or if you're a collector, there's different rules. So I still don't know all the rules. And so I have an accountant who helps me. So like, please don't just like listen to what other collectors say. Talk to a professional. That's all I want to say about that. I'm kind of tired of that topic.
Yep, great advice. And accountants are probably not as expensive as one might think that they are. So
No.
just
No.
just go talk to the accountant. We need to get our taxes done either way. It's kind of nice to have the comfort of having it. Like I did my own taxes for a long time, and I finally had to get an accountant. And it's just nice to have an accountant look over the stuff. They know all what needs to be filled in, and you know, and they're not that expensive. Like just to do your yearly tax return, they're just not that expensive. So
I usually pay like $200 when I do it myself. And then this last couple of years, he was like, it'll be about $500. I was like, are you serious, dude? I'll just sell like a freaking, like a Bol card and we're covered here.
sell your Christian Wood raw.
We're covered, bro. Can I ship you this card and we'll be good?
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Shay said that he has shipped to PWCC a 10K item insured. Overnight cost you $90. Dude, I shipped something FedEx overnight not long ago. It was kind of a bigger package, but it was like $150.
Yeah.
Just to ship that without insurance. So I don't know, man. Either
you're living right next to PWCC or we shipped wrong.
Or we're idiots, which I would not rule out. But nonetheless, like just, you know, look into it. Okay. There was something else. Blinding 90s said insurance brings the wrong kind of attention. So
yes, it does.
It does.
Great point.
It really does. You show up to FedEx, you have a little package, and you're insuring it for $20,000, and it's like, okay. That's if there's anybody bad working at that office, and they see that come in, we want to trust people, but better safe than sorry.
If you have your own insurance through Collector Insure or something else, you don't need the FedEx insurance. I feel so much better walking in. Like a lot of this has to do with just like you're putting your mind at ease, right? Having insurance, having an accountant, all of these things kind of like free your mind up to like focus on the hobby and focus on like what you're best at. That's kind of the point of it. And then when you have like proper insurance and you know you're doing a good, you're going all out on the overnight FedEx, like I walk in, I have my thing packaged up. I actually like know the lady at FedEx now. I get in her line because I know she's like, oh, hey, you're back. You want the overnight again? Yes, I want overnight. And like she knows what I want. She boxes it the way I want.
FedEx VIP.
Yeah, man, you got to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stories of guys that are like, oh yeah, my, USPS guy knows me by now. He's seen me so many times, and FedEx gal, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, that's when you know you're in deep, is when the FedEx overnight line knows you by name.
Hell yeah. She's like, I was like, I want the usual. She's like, yep, overnight. Yes, ma'am. Box, yep.
Yeah. And David says a registered mail through USPS is cool. It's safer and way cheaper than insurance, but it takes longer. So, yeah, registered mail, I believe the key feature of that service is that it is tracked from every point to every other point, and it has to be logged each time it changes hands.
so that you know where it got stuck and who would be responsible. Yeah, it's much safer. But it's a pain in the butt to package that stuff. You have to like have it in a certain type of package. And am I wrong on that?
No, I think you're right. You do. It needs to go in a special type of box. James says, do you ship FedEx exclusively, or is this only for expensive items?
Expensive items. Expensive items. I do for like, like let's just say like $2,000 and under cards. I will do flat rate USPS boxes. I have like a whole little shelf of them ready to go. I like pre-box them and everything.
Oh shit. Yep,
So
I was
I'll
getting
do
ready to flex my dude, you can get these for free. USPS will mail you everything for free. You literally just go to the site, you get the labels. There's my second box for when this box runs out.
Yes, sir. Bubble mailer. I do 2 bubble mailers, wrap it in some bubble wrap thingies, and then 2-day flat rate box. Double tape it. Tape the label to it to get the extra tape. Drop it off. Good to go. Adult signature. They use.
There you go. So a couple people have questions about Collect Insure. There's a great guy who works there named Doug Dutton. He's a customer service representative, or maybe he's in sales. I don't know, but I talked to him for like an hour or two. The guy is very knowledgeable. He'll answer all your questions and then get you set up with a policy. So bring your questions to them so that you don't have to hear it secondhand through me, and I might even have something wrong. So just get directly in touch with Collect Insure. That's going to be able to answer your questions. It is worth it. It is worth the time to look into something like this. Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it.
There's no shortcuts to success, which is like a super cheesy bumper sticker, but it holds true here. You can't like try to cut corners and save a few bucks on each shipment and try to, not get insurance and do things yourself. Like just get the accountant, get the Collect Insure, and now all that. Obviously, that advice holds more true if you're doing, higher volume, bigger deals, whatever. So that might not apply to everyone. So take that with a grain of salt, but put in the time, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Josh, Northeast Sports Cards, says ACNA is the best for insurance. I'm not familiar with them, but wanted to give them a shout out for live listeners, people who are listening on the replay. Maybe they want to go look into it. ACNA. ACNA.
Nice. Getting some recommendations going.
Can't hurt, especially coming from a guy with a collection like that. I would listen very carefully to whatever he recommends about insurance.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the last part of K Dizzle's cards question was just how do trades work?
Yes.
So people probably question who sends first. Do people send at the same time? Like, how do you? Maybe you could shed some light on this.
Yeah, so I mean, if you both are like equally unsure of each other, I would try to find a middleman, try to find someone that you can both maybe trust, that you have an equal connection to, that you can send to. You can both send to him, and hopefully they're willing to take on the risks. Maybe there's some, there's some deal where the middleman gets a cut of something if it's that serious of a deal. So that's a start. Other than that, like, I guess, try to get to a point like you did with the sale where you trust each other and agree to send, like, make sure there's a lot of communication on when you're both sending, make sure you're sending on the same day, make sure you're both providing each other tracking. But in some cases, maybe there's a scenario where one person might want to send first. I've had that case come up where I didn't feel confident until they sent to me first, and I put my reputation on the line saying, like, you send to me first, and then I'll send once I get it. And sometimes that would work depending on who you are on one side or the other. Obviously, like, the answer kind of just depends on your situation, but those are kind of the 3 that I can think of.
Yeah, great points. McDoyle Sports says that he's got an insurance claim coming up. I think he had a pretty unfortunate situation happen not that long ago. McDoyle, we would love to hear an update when you do have it on how that whole thing works out, man, and help out people in the hobby who, God forbid, have to go through something similar, what they might be able to do in that situation. So, but hopefully, obviously, we're all rooting that your claim is resolved in your favor the way that it should be. So, good. Okay. Good stuff on the topic of trades as well. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Back to collecting side communication, and it's kind of like circles back to where we started the night, which is like we're all sort of a community and we're all kind of in this together. So like if you feel nervous about a deal, or just ask, right? Just ask around, ask me, ask Chris. Like, we're willing to help, and that's what it's about. And if we can't help, we'll send you the right person. This is really kind of a team effort here. Like we all want the hobby to grow the same, and so just ask for help. That's ask for help from an accountant, ask for help from your insurance rep and your FedEx lady that you get in line with, and us. Like it's all, none of us have the answers to everything, dude. Like you and I are like, I don't know fucking first thing about accounting. Like you sort of have to like raise your hand and admit like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Please help me.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Also, on the topic of trades, I know that like Ship My Cards is a service that can serve as an intermediary if you don't know an individual. The guy who runs it, Brian Wells, is a well-known collector, no pun intended. Anthony Hardaway is like his main PC, and I believe, he provides that service. So
you can actually like both ship to him. It shows up in your account in like a vault kind of manner. He'll take a picture of it, and then you can transfer it over to another account. It's it's like COMC or PWCC Vault. They're all kind of similar. But Ship My Cards is a small business run by a great guy.
Yeah, I suppose also PWCC could potentially be used for this purpose too. Although I would just call them and see if it's feasible, because like there are like ingestion fees at the vault and stuff like that. So just, I don't know if they really want to be used in this manner or what type of fee they might charge for that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, so those are kind of the traditional ways of doing trades. The upside of trading is that there's no accounting involved, right? So you just do a swap and it's great. But the downside, obviously, is that now you have two items in the mail of roughly equal value, and it's just kind of double the issue. But it is remarkable how many, just think about how many cards are bought and sold and shipped every day, and the staggeringly overwhelming majority of them are successfully landing without issue. So anyway,
good stuff.
On the topic of grails, I saw the great Brett of Stacking Slabs invoked in the chat, and he also has the next topic. He says, when you're preparing, when you are selling to prepare for a grail purchase, how does that, do you sell to prepare for a grail purchase, or do you buy a grail and then start selling to pay off the debt? Which one do you do? Do you start selling, get your bankroll, and then go ahead and buy? Or do you just buy and then say, okay, I'll sell up this, and this until I've reimbursed myself?
Well, I'm more of a planner, so I prefer the latter. I prefer to sell preemptively and prepare, but sometimes that's not possible, right? If a grail pops up on eBay and you gotta do something quick. This is why I love buying from PWCC, man. Like, I'll just keep saying this, but like buying from PWCC is nice because you can work with them and buy it and then send them stuff to sell to pay off the debt, and they'll kind of work with you, and they're flexible. Obviously they expect like some sort of like deposit and upfront cash, so you need to always like be prepared to have some money on hand to do something like that. But they're very flexible, great company. I'd love to give them a plug whenever I can. I've pulled that off a couple times with them. Just depends. Do you have anything else?
No, you're so right. That is definitely the diligent, responsible way to do it that should be advocated for. Adam says in the chat he uses his kids' college funds to do it. So
God.
I may have dipped into a retirement fund or two to buy something, and then it's so annoying replenishing the money because I just don't want to do it, but I have to sell cards to do it. But I am definitely one of the ones that buys and then liquidates normally. And the thing is that you start selling and then you might not ultimately replenish yourself all the way. You just say, okay, I sold 75% of what I was supposed to, and now I'll just, oh well, just pay myself the rest back later. And you don't want to get into that habit. You want to make a plan and stick to it. But there are some advantages. You do have more maneuverability when you buy and then you sell to fundraise, because sometimes your cards are worth more than you think they are, and you might not need to sell as many as you thought. So it's kind of the way I do it, but definitely do not do not dip into the kids' college fund.
No.
We don't want to do that.
I was thinking about this earlier today, not like that exact question, but similar to like, should I have done more in cards? Like if I'm thinking back to like 2016 when, we kind of knew, I mean, we didn't know for sure, obviously, but like we kind of knew things were going to blow up. We just, like you and I kind of had this feeling about it. Like the hobby just had a lot of signs and it was fun. And obviously if I knew what I know now, I would have gotten a second mortgage and fucking cleared out my 401k and bought that green and all kind. You would have been way more aggressive. But I feel like we were pretty dang aggressive anyways. So like it's hard to second guess.
Yeah, and like what aggressive means now is different than what it meant 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Like, remember, once upon a time it was aggressive for somebody to, oh God, I'm trying to think of an example. Once upon a time, it would have been aggressive to pay $2,000. Like within the last half decade, it would have been aggressive to pay $2,000 for the 2003 Topps Chrome base LeBron PSA 10. That, so like, as that card now is worth 13.5K to 14K, just like what it means to be aggressive is completely different. So, but I will say this, like, it's always, ever since I came back into the hobby, and it's still true today, I pretty much spend every dollar I can on cards because I'm just addicted to it. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's an absolute passion, thrill. And I'm just such a small fish out here competing against much bigger fish that I just know that if I'm not aggressive by my own measure, I don't even stand a chance. So we all kind of secretly hope that the other people we're competing against for cards are not going to be as aggressive as we are. But man, people just get more and more aggressive lately. It's getting tough to compete out there. You know what I mean?
Do you have this feeling like you have more than like $1,000 in your bank account where you're like, God, I need to buy a card?
Yeah. Yes. The money is bank account, PayPal account. If I log into PayPal and see money sitting there, it immediately burns a hole in my digital pocket.
Christian McCaffrey?
Call him out, Joe. Call him out.
Shout out.
And then the other problem too is that we just go to local shops. We go to local shops and we just buy stuff. We just buy stuff. So that's the other thing too, is just like, it's good to buy cards so that you don't have money sitting around, so you don't start buying things that you don't really need. Like, so plan and then buy and then just chill, I guess, is the way that I would describe that. Final one on the topic of grails. This comes from Mike of Slabs to Men. Great guys, great LeBron collectors, the two guys behind Slabs to Men. He said, it would be interesting to hear about times you had to move previous grails to obtain greater ones. Did you find that you wanted to get those old ones back in your collection after selling them off, despite the purpose they filled in obtaining even larger grails? So do you have a story for us about a time you had to move a previous grail to get a greater one, and did you miss the card afterwards?
Yeah, I had the 2003 LeBron Ultimate Rookie BGS 9, which was like a huge grail for me, and I thought like, man, I'm never gonna get that card, and I actually like found my way into it at one point. Shout out to Mike, MC Sports Cards, sold it to me a few years ago, and then I used that to sell to get my LeBron RPA. I don't know, I don't really feel the need to get it back. I know like in the moment when you're selling it, you're like, oh, I'll get this back one day, I will. And I don't know, I never really like get to that point where I circle back and feel like I need to get it again. But I can understand if someone does feel that need. And so if that's the case, like then don't sell something that's incredibly rare. Like you can sell stuff that's expensive, that's a grail to get the bigger grail. But if you kind of line them up, and the first one to go is the one that's like the most easy to get back. So, like sell like a PSA 10 LeBron refractor rookie before you're going to sell like LeBron gold refractor off rookie that you're probably not going to get back. Like try to weigh those two scenarios where if it's equal value, sell the one that's more easy to obtain in the future if that's what you're after.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I try to do that too. So I have a story on this topic. So I once had a wall of Michael Jordan inserts. I just had a massive wall. And they were in all types of different grades, BGS 85s, couple PSA 10s. The most money I ever spent on a card prior to the spring of 2018 was I spent $3,300 on a Michael Jordan Noise Boys PSA 10. Heart was pounding, won the card through PWCC. Absolutely exhilarating. It was like the crown piece of my collection. And I just had all these inserts. I just literally had like every 90s MJ insert damn near I had it from excluding anything like above Platinum Portraits of Noise Boys. Like I didn't have Jam Black, I didn't have Ultra Stars Gold, but like everything beneath those, Noise Boys, a cut above, Platinum Portraits, Molten Metal Fusion. I had all of them. Big Men on Court, all the years, Z-Pete, everything. Slam Cams, just had all of it. Thrill Seekers. And I just had a sweet insert PC, but then like I pretty much cashed out damn near all of it or most of it to upgrade into some Jordan Grails later in 2018. But the thing is, I don't miss those cards. They were with me for years. I enjoyed them. I love seeing them do well. Like Noise Boys PSA 10 is now like a 20K card or like a 25K card. I sold it for 4K. Like I enjoy seeing those cards do well, but just would I buy that card again at 25K? Like not a chance in hell I would. So I just don't really. They serve their purpose. I owned them. The thrill of owning them kind of came and went, and I'm good. And I love what I have right now. So I don't miss them, but I know that Rodman is on the hunt to replenish his insert PC. So he is a guy who sold his inserts and now he's looking to get them back. So, maybe it'd be fun to pick his brain sometime. Why Rodman is Chris name drop it now. Yes. Name dropping all these the inserts. So Rodman would be a fun guy to pick his brain on this topic. Right. But no, I've never felt that way. I've never felt like I wanted to get a card back after I sold it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so petty because I've trained my brain to hate the things that I cannot have.
That's true. It's a good coping mechanism. I have a small rant on this little path that we're going down. We talk a lot about consolidating grails, expensive cards, and I saw Sports Card Investment, I think is his handle, post today, and he said something to the effect of like, all these accounts, and he's probably referring to me and you and like other guys, and I totally respect what he's saying. He's saying that like everyone's going after grails, and you got to move up the ladder, and you got to do this and that. And he's like, I just actually, like sort of like the level I'm at, and I like having more cards, and I like searching for them. And dude, I 100% respect and like wish people good luck and wish people good fortune on that path as well. Not the consolidating thing is absolutely not for everyone, and it's kind of been this like hot topic for a while because it's served better for like the investor type stuff and the funds, and it's sort of like this thing that keeps happening where everyone's trying to get these big expensive cards, but like that's happening so much that you and I are almost like, dude, let's zag back to the Rodman route and like let's zag back into the walls. It's like the wall cards, because like you're sort of losing what got you to this point of like searching for cards and researching sets and learning all these things when you only have these super high end few cards. And honestly, like that that path just isn't like attainable for a lot of people. So like we need to take a step back and sort of like appeal to the masses here and realize that that's not going to be a viable option for everybody. So I just want to like make it known and clear that we are not telling everyone they need to get grails and they need to move up the ladder, they need to do all this stuff. There's infinite ways to enjoy the hobby, and this is just kind of how Chris and I have enjoyed it, and we've given our takes on it, how you accomplish it, and putting in the hard work. If you enjoy going a different route, by all means, do it. And Chris and I have done that route ourselves as well, and we would be glad to help lead people on that journey as well. So like, if you have questions on that kind of stuff, like please bring it up. We're not only high-end grail hunters. Chris buys Christian McCaffrey. I buy wide receivers when I get bored. I research sets on courtside silvers right now because I love those and they're cheaper and I'm having fun with it. There's just like infinite ways to enjoy the hobby, and like we all kind of need to find what works best for us. And so don't be beholden to content creators telling you what you need to do. It's us included. If Chris and I are giving off the vibe that you have to be going after grails, that's absolutely not the case. I know you agree with this, so I'll let you take over and get on my soapbox.
Dude, I'm gonna hop on the same soapbox. I hope there's room. First of all, grail acquisitions, by their definition, by the nature of what they are, they should happen very rarely.
Yep.
If one is picking up grails every month, they're not really grails. They relative to the person who's acquiring them, they are common. They're too easily obtained to be considered grails, because for every different person, a different card is a grail. I can sit here and say the Michael Jordan PMG green is a grail, and it is, but it's really not even that. It's something beyond that, because I'm just very likely never going to have the means to get that card. A grail for me is a card that's like an order of magnitude smaller in value than that card, if not more. That's a grail for me. So everybody has something that is a grail relative to them. And, when you and I have consolidated into grails, the way that works is that was years and years and years of enjoyment and fun collecting stuff that maybe was mid-range, maybe was lower end, acquiring all that stuff, and then making a very tough decision to sort of convert part or all of the PC into what would be a grail. And that does not happen often. So like it's fun to think about, but just acquiring grails every month is just, those aren't grails for the person acquiring them then. So like a grail is something that happens, an acquisition like that happens very rarely, and it means a different thing for different people. So everybody should identify grails. I think it's fun to have a chase. It's fun to reach it's fun to have a reach that exceeds one's grasp. I think that's fun, personally. But okay, so by the same token, now back on the topic of just enjoying all their cards and grails. I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you. My grails, I look at them probably the least of the cards in my collection. Most of my time is spent enjoying crap like this. Just piles of just random raw crap that I picked up. Who is this? Bruno Fernando Silver. Just crap that I just picked up at the LCS, and I just go through it and I decide if it's gradable and I put it in sleeves. That's a lot of my time is spent just doing stuff like that. That stuff's fun to enjoy. Cards like this, these are Michael Jordan cards. These are numbered to 100. I built almost the whole set. There's 10. I built 9 of them. That stuff is extremely fun, and it's really the heart and soul of the hobby. There's many different branches to the tree of the hobby, but yeah, I'm starting to just kind of stray now, but those are my takes. I fully agree with yours. I'm just adding a couple of my own.
Yeah, because most of the great points. Most of the stuff that we get asked about because of just sort of like where we are at in the hobby and sort of our progression and what have you. Like that's kind of what we get asked the most, and it's like it's just like more. I guess that's like the hot topic for investing and funds and expensive stuff. But I think what we're trying to get across is like you and I are really grounded and rooted in all that is the hobby, and including like, you know, quote unquote cheaper cards or base cards or sets. Like there's all kinds of different things, and you know, we kind of take the hobby for all of it, and everyone has their own lane and they have their own step on the ladder of where they are in the hobby, and so you know, we're here to kind of help guide no matter where you're at, not just helping you consolidate into grails. It's not the only thing we do.
It's so true. It's so true. And everybody, there was something that got everybody into the hobby, and it usually happened to us as kids, and it usually did not involve acquiring a huge card. It usually involved stuff that kids can afford. And so like the last time I was at Burbank Sports Cards, I bought this. I just couldn't even help myself. It's one of the MJ inserts I'd never owned. Fleer Zone, Michael Jordan, right? It's just a slick looking card. I just love it. It literally, while the grails are tucked away and very rarely get seen, that card is sitting right next to me at my desk, and like I look at it, I don't know, 5 times a week. It's just sitting there. I just flip through the cards. We cannot over commoditize our collecting in our enjoyment of sports cards, or suddenly it becomes something other than sports cards. It cannot, the end all be all cannot just be getting a super valuable card. Like that completely misses the purpose. It puts things in the wrong order. The whole point of the Grail chase is because there's something very special about that card, that owning it and putting it into our collections is, you know, it's just like this unshakable thought. It's just something we have to have. But there's lots of cards that meet that criteria, not just grails. So a good thing that I do is I like to get back in touch with those stories, those moments in my collecting experience that just make me love cards, and just relive them and re-experience them and find new ways to enjoy and love the hobby as well. So there's some chat going on. Love high-end golf basketball. Great collector. Amazing PC. You should check it out. He's talking with another great collector in the chat right now, Midwest Vintage Cards. They're talking about golf cards because these guys just both love golf cards. Okay, that is the backbone of this whole industry, in which $700 million was spent to acquire Collectors Universe. This whole industry, the backbone of it is just these guys loving golf cards because they just love golf. They love golf cards. They have a connection to it. That's the backbone of this industry. We can never forget that, right? Am I off base here?
Dude, you're 100% right. I'm just listening right now, dude. You're on fire.
Good. You built the soapbox, and I stepped on it for a while, but I'm stepping off now.
Well, I give the initial rant, and then you organize my thoughts for me, and add extremely well thought out, well constructed sentences after. Sometimes I get stuck on words, and you just roll.
Josh, you're sitting here and his head's getting bigger and bigger. I'm not gonna say get him out of the basement.
Dude, that's why all of his hair just like flew off his head. They're like, fucking guy won't stop talking.
That was nature's way of punishing me for having too much ego. All right, let's go. Moving on. Damn,
Maybe
we're
one
already
more.
just about an hour here.
Yeah, maybe one more short one, and then get those hour 2 questions going. David, I see you.
Yeah, I am going to ask David's question in hour 2, but I'm not going to say all the specifics, right?
Okay.
But I am going to ask David's question in hour 2.
I've got names though.
No, you're right. Exactly. Okay, here's a very quick fun one. We'll have time for more of this probably, but which credentials is better? 96, 97 credentials or 97, 98 credentials?
97, 98, man. The pink, the green, the serial numbers, the rarity. Oh man, that's an easy one.
It
96,
is?
97. It looks cool, but man, like you're like, oh, pink on a basketball card, dude. It's just like that card is just so freaking nice once you get one in hand. Like they're really nice. I love 97, 98.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, as a Jordan collector, I've never owned either the Future or the Now, and I believe it's the Now. It's out of 9, and the Future is out of 72. And so the serial numbering device was like really cool for that card because every player's total print run adds up to 81, if I'm not mistaken. It's like Jordan has 72 and 9 for the 2 parallels. Other guys like the next guy in the set will have 73 and 8. Some guys have 80 and 1. I think Grant Hill has the 1 of 1 parallel, if I'm not mistaken.
Ron Mercer has it.
Like that. Who?
It goes in both directions. So Ron Mercer has it on the other end.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. You're showing the Now out of 9 credentials Jordan, which is absolute grail. Grail. That's an absolute grail right there. Okay, but the case for 96-97 is a very simple one, and it's that it has Kobe's rookie.
Ooh.
It has 96-97 has Kobe's rookie, and 96-97, was that like the first year of like serial numbered cards, or at least like it was the first year where there was like a few, like there was like Flair Showcase Legacy Collection came out that year, Credentials came out that year, so like it's a pretty cool card too, first in the lineage. But as a Jordan collector, obviously I agree with the 97-98. But the case for 96 is that it has like the absolutely epic Kobe rookie in it.
96-97, I've like quietly noticed, not quietly, but like it is, that card just like exploded. Like people just 96-97 right now. I mean, look at that graph. It's like whoop.
Yeah.
And and the condition on 96-97, well 97-98 too. The condition on 96-97 is brutal. It's brutal. Like the Kobe PSA 10. I know a guy that has a few of them, and I think the pop is just like insanely low for 96. I don't even know if we have that card. The pop is so low. I don't even know if it's worth it to put the PSA. You do have it in here, of course we do. The pop is 4.
Yeah.
4.
Yep.
Dude, I don't know, like, for those out there that don't know about the set, it's serial numbered to 499. It's a Kobe rookie. It's one of his only serial numbered rookies, and it's a pop freaking 4. Like Luka pop 15,000. Just try to put that into perspective to how hard it is to grade this older stuff. 4.
Dude, those were terrible coming out of the pack. Many of them, majority of them perhaps, are diamond cut. Many have print dots. Many have other surface defects like strings hanging off from when it was die cut. Super difficult card. I mean, right there. All right, so already it's a Kobe. It's numbered to 499. It looks amazing. It's the rarest version of that card. It's the rarest parallel. Because remember, in the 90s, you just had 1 or 2 parallels. So that's the one parallel. It's out of 499, and it's a pop 4, and it's in a PSA 10 case. I mean, a case could be made that might be Kobe's best rookie card.
We have one all-time sale on our system. One. Some of these cards sell 50 times a day, and we have one sale. The predicted value is $315,000.
That feels low. That feels low. That feels really low.
Well, I love when we get asked questions about specific sets that are just like really fun. Because like that Jordan, I was gonna say that Jordan Now, it's one of those cards that like when you've been in cards for a couple of years, like you finally like realize this card exists. You're like, holy shit, there's only 9 of these. It's more rare than the green PMG. Like I didn't even know this card existed. I mean, it took me like a couple of years to like really understand everything. And this card right now is just like, oh my gosh.
So like I think the last time that Jordan sold was in like 2015 or 2014 or something crazy.
2016.
And so like we've seen every other Jordan Grail sell, especially after those Mile High auctions, because like for a while there, Molten Metal Fusion Titanium, like the gold one out of 40, that hadn't sold publicly since 2016, but like, okay, so that finally sold again. This is like the one Jordan Grail, not even the PMG green. This is the one Jordan Grail that has not sold in like the last 4 years. This is the one that just nobody is letting fly. So food for thought there. What is so special about this one that we haven't seen one come to market?
This is like kind of what I love about this 90s stuff. It's like these funds and all these rich dudes, they can get their hands on the PSA 10 Giannis RPAs because there's a bunch of them. They can get their hands on the 9.5 Currys and push the values up all they want. The BGS 9 LeBron RPAs, there's a bunch of them. I have one. There's a bunch of them. There's stuff out there that those guys can't get their hands on. There's one-on-one stuff. There's 90s stuff out of 9 that's locked up with these super collectors that, I've had it for years, guys like Nat, guys that collect in China and in Asia that have this stuff, and it's just like you and I get excited about it just because we know there's a difference between rare serial numbers and like actual rarity and scarcity, where like these items don't become available because they're rare and the people that own them are not selling them.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps hearing that talk because it's so true, and it's just it's this great secret. The 90s are still so many fun secrets in there. I don't even know. I would be very surprised, honestly, if even more than a couple or 3 of the Jordan credentials now were even in North America. I would be amazed. I bet most of those have made their way overseas to Australia, to Asia, and even if you wanted to, even if you put the most ludicrous bounty on it, you still might not be able to summon one of those from one of the PCs that's locked away in.
Yeah, because the guys that own them already have it. Money's not their goal. That card is their goal, and they already have it. So
yeah, yep, it sure is.
All right, ready for hour 2?
Yes, I am, buddy.
All right, let's take a short break, loosen up, have some fun.
Get another claw.
Get another gift. What you know.
Let's go.
All right, man. I'll see you in a minute.
See you, dude. Yo,
I'm gonna try it. Ready? You ready?
what are we doing?
People don't like sports cards because they're good investments. They're good investments because people like sports cards.
Well done. Christina was showing up when she was on the Surface Trade Show that she knew the phrase or something, or you had to recite it at some point. But I went in the room after her, after she had got done, and I saw she had a pen and paper. She had pen and paper, and she had written down on it the phrase. So she was making it seem like she knew it.
I still screwed it up.
I
still screwed it up.
Like
It's not like I did it right.
It's hard to write it down too. You can't just like write it. You gotta like think as you're writing it.
You came up with a real tongue twister there. What's up, Jake? 90s B-ball cards. Made it live.
Dude, shout out to Christina for her appearance on Surface Trade Show last week. I watched every second of every one of those because I wanted to like learn something new about the hobby, some things I didn't know about, and Lefko ran the show, did a great job. I know that Chris and I had fun on it, and Lefko put Christina on this panel with like basically funds. Like the topic was like funds and cards, and I was like, I love Christina, but I'm not sure how this is gonna fit. And it was freaking amazing because Adam like foresaw that she would challenge those guys and be like, I don't know if this actually is good for the hobby, and she totally like went after them. It was so amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, card ladder, everything that we stand for. I love this.
What do you have to say? You look like you had something to chime in.
I just want to thank Adam for having faith in me. And when Josh and Chris doubted,
Well,
and messaged me those doubts before I went on live. I was very nervous.
Christina, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, literally. Like, Josh is like, he asked you to be on what panel?
Look. Wow, by the way.
So
Christina,
shout out Lefko for putting on a great day.
He did.
And including me. I was very happy to be included with such great company and an interesting, intelligent conversation that I think we're all thinking about, and we needed to shine a light on. So I hope I represented those collectors who agree with me, those who don't agree with me. I hope I didn't piss you off too much, but you're not in a boat alone, because I piss off a lot of people.
There she goes. So the one thing, while Christina was going, I knew she had her laptop, and I knew she could see my text messages. So I was texting her, stop. You're good. You're good. You made your point. You're good. Stop. I don't know if you saw those messages.
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was all.
Yeah, but like Chris, you and I were texting each other like, get him, like go get him. Yes.
No, we were going off. We were like, this is so
amazing. I should have never doubted Adam Lefko. He's a professional media member. I should have never doubted his ability to like create an atmosphere and environment of a great interview. So my bad.
Yeah, I hope those clips, my understanding was they were going to make their way to YouTube. So I hope that they do.
Surface?
Because, there's some good stuff on there.
You hope they surface?
Indeed. I hope they surface. Yeah, exactly, Vinny. She does not care who she pisses off. Don't let her feed you that line.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was literally just like yes. My son, he was like, well, first of all, my 5-year-old doesn't really understand the concept of like conference, so he's like, can they hear me? And he's like, are they talking to me? And he's like, I really want to say something to them. Can I please say something? I want to say something to them. Like, they can't hear you. It's just like a one-way thing here. And he's like, what if they hear me?
Oh my God, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard. You should have texted me, and I would have been like, shout out to my boy Sammy. I know you're watching.
I can't hear you right now, but
I can't hear you. I know you can hear me, but shout out my boy Sammy.
You would have been like, did she just say my name?
Sorry that Josh can't get to level 16 on whatever that game is.
I'm beating that fucking game tomorrow. We're on the final level tomorrow. I'm beating it.
Let's go. Josh's vacation is off to a rousing start.
How many YouTube hours have you spent watching?
Honestly, I watched a YouTube video today of some guy beating the final boss, and I was like, and he goes left, and then he spins. Oh, he spins, and he's jumping. I'm ready.
Oh, that's great.
You better practice.
I know. I just need to like play at night and pre-beat the game.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
Oh, so we only got to about 4 questions. There's many more left. But, should we go to just the most fun question on the list? Yeah. No. I'm going to hold that question. Let's put in some work. Work before play. So let's take up some slightly more serious questions here. This one comes from Peter of Slabs to Men. With all the recent hype surrounding Taylor Horton Tucker, what do you see from him as the season goes along? Does he or any other preseason hyped up-and-comer actually prove to be worth the hype in the long term?
No. Here's the thing. The Lakers are like the deepest team like ever. They're so deep that they're gonna like actively play 10 guys, and when it gets down to crunch time in some of these games, like he's gonna be 8 or 9 on the pecking order. Like that's just kind of the reality of it. And there's just like there's not much hobby room for like the 8th guy, you know. on the team or like the third or fourth guy off the bench. It's a cool story, and he's obviously a good player. It's great that he's gotten to this point. If you're a fan of him, this is awesome. There's still like cards that you can collect of him. Maybe you have some personal attachment to him. That's great. If you're looking to like get rich off of him long term, I would seriously, rethink that.
Is there anybody out there in the preseason hype bubble that just based on the sample size of one preseason, we should say no?
Tell me, okay, the best example that's ever occurred in the scenario we're talking about in the history of sports is Linsanity, right? Where like he did it in the season, he did it for the Knicks, he did it for more than one preseason game. It was like a stretch of like 2 weeks where he was just hitting game winners and just going off. Go look up Jeremy Lin cards right now. It's never sustainable long term. He got rocked in the playoffs that year by the Heat. Like they just absolutely dominated him. Like it just, it's so like some of these moments that these guys have where they're playing against preseason competition, teams are relaxed. When you get to the nitty gritty of the playoffs and the finals and stuff, it's like then we're going to really find out where you're at in the hobby, and that's eventually when reality sets in.
Yeah, I think people cause remember Zion had an excellent preseason last year, and it actually in that case was representative of a terrific player.
Sure.
But my standard, if somebody was trying to sell me on a prospect and their potential ceiling, I would need to at least have one season's worth of statistical averages that somebody could point me to say, oh, look, this guy averaged 25 and 5. I see the upside here. But just one game, 3 games, anybody can go off for that long.
There was that interview with LeBron that I finally watched in its entirety 3 times. He like literally was like laughing about preseason. They're like, "Are you gonna play?" And he's like, "No, like I'll play, but no, I don't care." So like, there's also this aspect of like the veterans. Someone posted on, dude, JJ Redick has like the best pod. Have you watched JJ Redick's pod? It's so good.
Yep.
He did mention like vets like do not care about preseason.
And why would they? There's only downside. What can happen is that you can get injured or tweak something or give away a new move that you're working on that you don't want to disclose yet. I mean, there just does not seem to be any upside besides getting a good run in and reacclimating oneself to the speed of an NBA game. There just doesn't seem to be much upside to an established player doing anything more than the bare minimum in a preseason game.
This question like gets NBA cousin Vinny. Great comment. Shout out. You're totally right. Like this is sort of like my disconnect with prospecting, and I sort of give off this like Grinch vibe about it. But like prospecting is a huge part of the hobby, and it is kind of a necessary beast to fuel the hobby, and a lot of people enjoy it. It gives them sort of like that gambling feel. So like I totally understand that like prospecting is a necessary beast to the hobby, and people enjoy it. So take my Grinch sarcasm with like a grain of salt.
Yeah. In the era of, guys who have hobby value like Kawhi and Giannis and Zion and Luka and Trey and Morant and MPJ, like there's different types of prospects. You got some prospects who are good from day one, but then you have like the late bloomers, Steph Curry, Giannis, Kawhi. These guys took a while before it became clear they were top 10 NBA players. And so that's one of the things that is fun about prospecting is that, this kid's 19, where will he be in 6 years? Could he be the next Kawhi? Could he be the next Steph? Could he be the next Giannis? But the sobering part of that is just keeping in mind the odds of it happening. The odds are very much against us that we will pick a prospect before we've even seen them play any real meaningful minutes. The odds are very much against us that anything historic or surreal is going to happen. That's just the wet blanket of the situation. It just is. So, that's all I should. With that said, though, it is fun to pick a player and not break the bank. But, I'll come up with one off the top of my head so I don't blow anybody's cover here. Who's a guy that just doesn't have a chance at all? Svi Mikhailiuk, right? He was with the Lakers. He was in 2018. He has a Prism Silver. He has a Prism Base. So, look, if you really want to root for this guy for some reason, you saw something special in him, you want to drop $500 and get 50 Prism Silvers or whatever, I don't see any harm in that. There was a really funny post because Kyle Guy went off. Like, Kyle Guy had a game where he hit the game winner, and Luke Walton came out to the media literally like an hour after the game and said, there will not be minutes for this guy unless there are significant injuries to our team. He literally came out. Luke Walton came out and said that. It was, I saw it on Twitter. But nonetheless, he had like 27 points, hit a game winner. It's preseason. And somebody made a post I just loved on Instagram. They showed off their Kyle Guy Prism Rainbow, Prism Golds, Prism Silvers, Prism everything. And in his comments, his caption was like, I'll see you guys on my new yacht or whatever. And, like, I just loved that. I just thought that was so appropriate, an appropriate handling of the situation. So you can have fun with it, right? You can definitely have fun with it. Oh, something more fun is going on in the chat right now as I'm talking about Kyle Guy.
Reason that we sort of like jest at the prospecting and the silliness of some of the bowl stuff is that like the other content creators out there take it seriously and they're actually pitching this stuff as like a viable option to like get rich quick, where we're saying like the vast majority of those situations are not true. So we're trying to like make things more realistic for people and give you the facts and make you understand that like, yes, you can make money on guys like Taylor Horton Tucker. It's totally possible. In the long run, though, it's not as viable of an option as just buying the vets, the GOATs, getting into the market at the level that makes sense to you, whether that's Prism Silver rookies, whether that's, Michael Jordan inserts off years that kind of are random that like nobody knows about yet. Like there's all these different entry points into certain players. And we're just saying that like in general, the risk is much, 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 much lower with the, established greatest of all time players, different card levels within that player versus the Prism PSA 10 Silvers of guys that like just normally do not work out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sober reality of it. I just find myself not wanting to pick any prospect without at least having seen like a year of evidence on them, at least, right? And like, if a guy is special, then after only a year, there will be a lot more to come. But I think the point that Josh is making is that there is certainly a clear and present risk thermometer, if you will. And like we are getting to boiling hot temperatures on the risk thermometer when we're talking about trying to pick a name out of a hat of a guy who's going to become hobby gold. And we've only seen a couple of preseason games. Or in Taylor Horton Tucker's case, he did appear in the bubble. All right, like in round 2, he played a few games.
So then I want you to now explain to everyone and me what made you invest big time money in a absolute prospect project in Luka Doncic. Tell the people how you got that. You're literally telling them the opposite of what. Cause you mentioned that you have to see a year's worth of data.
Yep.
But you were buying him rookie year, so I need you to explain to this.
Okay, so Josh told me there's this great guy named Luka, and I should get in early. So I started getting in early on Luka. Josh actually has the Prism Black 1 of 1. He doesn't want you guys to know, but he has the Prism Black 1 of 1.
Start over. No.
No, so with Luka, because I remember I was annoying the shit out of you with all my worrying. And like, oh, look at this, look at these stats, look at these stats, look at these stats. So like really Luka started because Christina made us open so much 2018-19 Prism. So that's where it started. And so that was the start of the problem.
It was cheap.
Yeah, so it's her fault. And then I bought her for Valentine's Day during Luka's rookie year a Luka Pink 9.5. I paid I paid $400 for it and went down to 100 within 3 months. So that was like a huge wake up call. That this is a very risky thing. I remember Garrett, the great Garrett of Louisville Sports Cards, sold it to me. And like I remember showing it to him, I was like, dude, this went down to $100, man. This sucks. And he was like, damn, sorry, dude. I did not think that would happen. That sucks. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm an idiot. So, but post All-Star break, what happened? He had a 27-7-7 split post All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember looking at that and saying, this is pretty good. I think he has the potential to be maybe a fringe All-Star. And I just like watching him play. That was the key thing. Was I got League Pass just to watch him play. And I was like, I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit, and it's a nice break from law school. And I finally have an NBA player that, like, I feel ownership of and a connection to. Like, I discovered this guy, like my punk rock band. But we didn't buy any, like, serious Luka cards until after season 1. Only then, and then it was in consultation with you because I remember asking you, I was like, what card should I get? You said 3. You said NTRPA, Gold Prism, and Galactic. You said those 3. So we went and got 2 of the 3. And then it was pretty much blind luck from our point of view that he had a breakout second year.
Well, I mean, the key part was that you, like, I wasn't trying to, like, lead you to the answer, but you watched the games.
Yes.
Watch the games, you developed an actual interest in a specific player, you felt he had some upside. So, like, yeah, there's totally examples of, like, where the prospecting stuff works, but it's really not based on, like, 1 or 2 preseason games. It's a year's worth of League Pass and, like, an absolute obsession with, like, understanding Luka as a player. And there's some luck involved, you know? Like, you got to admit it, like, dude, I saw an interview with Mark Cuban on Bill Simmons' podcast. Dude, Bill Simmons is the best, like, ever. And Mark Cuban admits it's luck. He's like, yeah, we had a strong feeling he was gonna be very good, but honestly, like, it's luck. We didn't know he was gonna be this good. Are you kidding? There's no way. Nobody knew he was good.
Total luck. And man, the downside could have been huge too because Trae Young is like pretty much the next best player out of the draft. So if Luka is Darko or Luka is Dario Saric or something, like, all of a sudden the Mavs look like complete fools. So ton of luck involved. And the other thing too, I remember going into the 2019-20 season, his second season, Rick Carlisle came out with a devastating press conference, and the press conference was, guys, Luka's stats are going to go down this year. Don't be surprised if that happens. We've added Porzingis and this is gonna happen. There's no way that I could say it was rational or logical to continue to collect Luka as a prospect. When the coach literally comes out and says his stats are going down from his rookie year because we've changed things around, it's just how it's going to be. Okay, what more do you need if you're investing to say, okay, like, that's a pretty clear sign that this player is going to take a step back from their rookie year. It was just the obsession with enjoying him as a player, and his style, and just having followed him from day one. It had like close to day one. It had like a special connection to us. That's what did it. And it was just the fun of collecting him. And he became a vessel for us to study and understand modern products. Right. So, like, it was the hobby part of it too. It was so important. Can never forget sports cards. The cards are half of that equation, half of that word. The cards really, really matter. The hobby part really, really matters.
Yeah, but there's also, like, the caveat now that based on how much growth there's been for his stuff, he is now the riskiest investment you could possibly make in the hobby, and even you would admit that.
I think without a doubt, people are spending Michael Jordan Grail money to get like Luka Tigers and stuff, and like I would never do that. Just wouldn't do that. Christina and I have sold quite a bit of Luka at 3 different intervals. At one point in time, we had everything ranging from his Mosaic Gold rookie PSA 10 to his orange Prism out of 49 PSA 10, blue Fast Break Prism out of 175 PSA 10. We had just so many nice Lukas, but we moved out of them because the risk factor at the current price just kept getting higher and higher and higher. And we've just held on to just the stuff that we just really, we feel are like cornerstones of our PC, and that like we can swallow the fact that these cards could go to 0 and it would really suck, but like we mitigated and we sold a lot of stuff that like went up quite a bit. So that kind of leads us to where we are. I mean,
you're playing with house money now.
We are well into house money territory. So I wouldn't advise people you have to be in a way different class than us. I think way above the class we're in to want to get involved like speculating on the high end Luka stuff. Like it's I don't know. It's a risky game. But like Coleman Card says, and I agree with it, he wants to he already bought his ticket to the roller coaster ride. He wants to go on it. It is what it is. I'm trying to offset that as much as I can, but at the same time, we have an attachment to some of these cards.
Totally. You're still a collector, man. Like, you're a Luka collector. That was the thing that kind of made my mind shift up a bit, was like, you guys were crazy. And then I actually started to sense like a lot of people collected him, which is I'm using the word collected and emphasizing it because like some of those guys, like the overseas guys, the Lucky Show is collecting him, right? Like there's guys that are like really on your guys' page of, dude, this guy's different. Like I'm not just buying him because he's a prospect. We're buying him because we enjoy watching him. It's just totally different, right? Like you have to like shift your brain into understanding the collectability of a player and understanding like who collects him, what's their collector base, who actually like is going to buy this stuff in the end, and not like Kyle Guy preseason game flipping to each other. There's a big difference.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to the Luka Show. Needless to say, his Luka collection puts ours absolutely to shame. So like, watch his YouTube channel. He has amazing Lukas. Great collector. Oh, he's in the chat. What's up, man? Yes, sir.
I said to him earlier today. I made a story,
right? His tree.
I made a story post. I remember people. This was back when I used to go on Blowout. People were just like, he would post his stuff, and people were just ripping him to shreds. Like, you're gonna get crushed on this, and he was buying it, like way cheaper than it is today. And man, just an incredible PC. And shout out to the Lucky Show. And he's just like, I hope you're enjoying it a little bit, man. Like, you gotta take your wins and like brag a little bit. Like, told you guys. I told you so is, you're totally within the realm now of saying that to people.
And he has a nice pie chart PC approach. Wax, he gets into wax. Steph Curry is a major part of his PC. Luka is a major part of his PC. And this is all Bay Area stuff because he's from that area. But ask him sometime about Harry Giles.
See, okay, so here's the thing. All the guys that I know that have made the most money on Luka, which, a lot of people have made money on him, obviously he's doing very well, are collectors. The guys who are doing the best are collectors. It's not even close. Like, Philip Gauze, collector.
Collector extraordinaire. I don't want to talk out of school on Phil, but like Phil has gotten involved into many great NBA players, great looking prospects, not just Luka. That's the other thing too, is that there's lots of players who have been very exciting and collected out of the gate, and collector bases can wax and wane. They can go up, and the collectability of a player can change pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's someone asked why is he the riskiest? Just because like his prices are so incredibly high. Like Chris, you're not buying RPAs right now. You just like like come on.
Couldn't even if I wanted to, but I would not in this market.
Let's move on.
All right, let's move on.
Harry Giles tree is next. Let's go.
You
You
should
get
do it,
trade.
dude.
You're not on the Kings anymore, right?
I think that's right. I think he did go somewhere.
When you posted those, where you show those cards of Christian, what's his name? Christian Wood. I literally like, yeah, I know what team he's on. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone what team he's on, Chris? Because I already know. I literally had no clue what team he was on. I was gonna say Portland. I was like, I think he's on Portland.
Look, Giles is in Portland. There you go.
So there you go. I got those two guys mixed up.
Oh, I'm just flipping through questions here. Here's one, because I saw Jordan Hagedorn in the chat. Booker Silver PSA 10 going on 5,500. WTF? Sorry, needed to vent. That comes from DMV Collectibles.
Wait, that doesn't come from Hagedorn?
No. This guy is up. This guy's lamenting how high Booker's market is. It should be noted that Booker's silver is very low pop. So
again, we remind people that every time it's like, yeah, you can like that like, oh, it's 5,500 compared to these other players, but you have to take into account the market cap. 148. It's like a freaking rare.
Yeah, so it's very low pop. That's the first thing to note. Market cap of 1 million. Another thing to note, even though the last sold is $7,000, Card Ladder is predicting 5.
Yeah.
And so Card Ladder's prediction is centered around 4 different historically correlated multipliers, tying it to the base. So like, it seems to be like roughly 4x the base is usually what it's sold for, and then it's jumped up quite a bit. So maybe we need to update our multiplier, or maybe that card got a little bit ahead of itself. I don't know. But there's the base. The base is going for 1,200. 2015 Prism.
Yeah, I like Booker. I mean, I'm a fan. I just think his prices are being moved up from a few select investors, and it makes me nervous. Someone asked me on my little question, ask me anything thing that everyone loves so much. Asked me about Hitler's ceiling, and I had made a comment that like I think he's already at his ceiling for card prices until he proves me wrong on some grand event like making the playoffs, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Can I just give a shout out to 2015 Revolution?
Shout out.
Those
Love
cards are so sick.
So sick.
I just love that set. Here's the one I want to get because I like this guy's game. Because this guy's game cracks me up. Hold on. This
Jokic.
guy. Yeah, this guy. He also has a rookie in 2015 Revolution. Like, damn, those cards look awesome, dude. Every year after, it just pales in comparison. And, I love, like, kind of has, like, a deck of playing cards built into it. It just has this Vegas vibe to it that I really like.
I just have to humble brag that I at one point owned the Pop 1 PSA 10 LeBron 2015 Galactic. I no longer have it. I moved it into a dual LeBron Jordan auto, but man, that card was sick.
Yeah, that is a freaking epic card.
That's one of that's near the top of my list of cards that I would just. Ugh.
Is that one that you would get back? Going back to that question from hour 1.
I knew that when I sold it. There's no way I'm getting it's Pop 1. Give it back to me. Like what?
Yeah. The chat seems to be split a little bit about Booker.
Yeah, I think it's because like he's still writing his story, and they just added Paul, and it could go either way. Like so people are kind of picking their side. What's up, Anthony? I see you, bro. Uh, people are kind of picking their sides, rightfully so. People that have money in him want him to do well. That makes sense. And I don't own any of him, so I'm sort of skeptical. Like his price, it's tough to buy into him right now. He's expensive, and it's like it's a gamble, it's a risk. I just don't know. He's never made the playoffs. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen when he makes playoffs. He might just like completely fold. Like, dude, the MVP of the league, defensive player of the league, isn't stepping up in the playoffs. How do we know what's going to happen to someone who's never made the playoffs? We don't know.
Love that point. The Suns, too. Everyone is really high on the 8-game winning streak in the bubble Suns. And it was the best thing for his market that they didn't make it to the playoffs, right? Because now it's just pure, unadulterated expectations. So that's okay. As instead of getting knocked out by the Lakers in round 1, 4-1 or 4-0, right?
Right.
So just pure, unadulterated hype.
It's almost better for them that they didn't make the playoffs. Like that's what you're saying, right?
Yes, yeah. I bet it made it more appealing to Chris Paul, even the unknown of it all. What could have happened is like a big deal. It's a big deal. But remember, the Suns were red hot to start last season too, and then granted some suspensions happened and everything else, and then they cooled off. So the Suns, it's just indeterminate. You know how we were talking about just a few minutes ago with a prospect? Show me one season's worth of stats, please, and show me that like this guy's fun to watch play. Like, can you at least get those two things? We don't have a season's worth of stats in the Suns yet.
Yeah, David just made a great point. If you guys are going to use what we have on Booker as data for like he's going to be amazing, why doesn't Jamal Murray get that same love and not way more? We've seen Jamal Murray take down the Clippers, go toe-to-toe with LeBron. I've seen a lot more from Murray in the moments that matter than I have from Booker. And I'm a Suns fan. I live in Arizona. I love the Suns. I want Booker to be awesome. I'm rooting for him more than most. I just need to see it. And I've seen it from Murray. And Murray's pop is not that much higher than Booker, and his prices are way lower. It seems a little silly to me.
So you are spot.
It's the same pop.
Am I back?
It's like the same pop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so you are spot. Yep, you are spot on. Pop is 142, but
Cap is 1/4, and he was way better than whatever, man. What do I know? Fuck. Dude, come on, man.
Christina, come hold this for a second. I need to type something really quick. Let me bring in.
If only someone had bought you a holder for your phone.
Thank you. Oh my god, I can't type. There we go. All right. Thank you. Okay, so here we are. Logarithmic scale, so we can compare the rate of growth. Murray is on the bottom, and Booker is on the top. So, like, Booker has historically had pretty much the same gap always.
Interesting.
So,
I like Murray.
you like Murray?
Like, you can see it in those big moments in the playoffs, right? You can, like, see how a player responds, and that dude, like, is a freaking beast.
Dude, he had God, Michael Jordan fans and collectors, forgive me. He had a reverse mid-air layup in the first round of playoffs against Rudy Gobert. That was maybe one of the all-time acrobatic great finishes like I've ever seen.
Yeah, he needs to be more consistent.
Yeah.
His regular seasons are up and down. I get it. But, like, I just don't see how you can look someone in the eye and be like, Booker is definitely 5 times better than Murray. I don't know.
No. You can't. But
that's a small break. Keep going.
okay. You can't do that. All right, I want to touch on a topic that Lefko brought up above because we had a question on this topic too. The question is, why are people making fake recreations of cards at all? They say people commission them, but who wants them in the first place? And then we had somebody write in on this topic as well. Basically, the question was, what's up with all of these custom cards that are on eBay? Huge issue. To me personally, there are Michael Jordan. Like, I saw a Noise Boys Michael Jordan custom card sell for north of $200. A custom made card. You know, on the one hand, it makes sense because the market is correcting itself, right? Like, people can't afford the higher ones, so there's going to be a bootleg to come in and fill in the bottom. But on the other hand, it creates confusion about what a legitimate sports card is, and that's not good. We rely a lot on licensing, and we rely a lot on trust and knowledge in this hobby to carry us through. And if there is not an understanding about what a legitimate card is versus what an illegitimate card is, we're setting ourselves up for a sticky situation. I was just ranting a little bit about how I'm not a huge fan of custom cards. We had a comment in the chat to that effect. You know, since I'm on this topic, and honestly, the charitable way to understand a custom card is to call it custom. I think it's slightly euphemistic. The other way to understand it is it's a counterfeit, or it's an item that was made using brands and logos and imagery that are not authentic to the creator. We have an issue with a lot of different counterfeiting in the hobby right now. And it's not just with cards. I think with content, people need to be original. Please be original in the content creation space. Do not listen to another podcast or another show, hear a good idea, take it, do your own thing on it, and not even give an acknowledgement to the source. Like, ideas are ideas. Nobody owns them. But acknowledgement and a hat tip to the creator of an idea or a concept, okay, that is the norm in, say, academia. When you're writing a paper or doing a dissertation or a study, you cite to the previous studies. If somebody came up with a theory, you credit them with it. You drop a footnote to them. You try to spread knowledge, and you try to do it accurately and with giving proper credit. In the hobby, I've seen this happen many times in the last few months. I'll hear a concept mentioned in one corner of the hobby, and then I'll see somebody else take it and bring it into their corner, and they don't give credit to where it came from. We would be doing much better as a hobby, as content creators, if we gave more hat tips and gave more credit where it's due. All right, off of my soapbox.
Well said, man. Great rant.
Thank you.
I know that Shay is like super passionate about this, and I totally got your back, man. Like, it's scary, it's dangerous. I'll give you an example of why it's mostly bad. Someone DM'd me who was clearly new to the hobby, and he sent me a picture of the like purple custom PMG Jordan. You know what I'm talking about? 97, 98 PMG purple. Yep. It's not real. It's not a real card. And he asked me, why is this card so cheap? I thought these PMGs were expensive. So the danger is new people coming in that don't understand the difference between a fake and a custom and a real card, potentially getting duped and getting pissed off and leaving. And you have this scenario where they sort of like become the general consensus, which is like, if I can't tell the difference between a custom and a real one, what's the point of paying money? You know, you get into that situation, which is very, 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 very dangerous. Which I'm talking about, like that scenario is super danger zone. We need to stay away from it. So the custom card thing, call it what it is. It's a custom card. It's technically, like you said, a ripoff. It's actually not even legal if we're talking about licensing rights and the rights to like use a player's image and likeness. It's bad. That custom looks fucking terrible. Look at that.
Dude, look at what it sold for. $200.
There's a couple customs out there, or like remakes or fakes or whatever you want to call it, where even I'm like, man, that looks kind of cool. You know, that's the danger. Is like it looks cool enough. Where, like I'd spend $100 on that, but like, God, what is that going to get me? You know, like where does that put me?
Yeah.
Kind of just,
Yeah. We're really in trouble if customs become investments.
then you're at the point now where there's no more rarity and people can print whatever they want, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's super scary. There's a lot of us that are very attached to like what we have in our personal collections and the rarity and stuff, and you're starting to like get into danger territory, and you're starting to scare us. So we're gonna be defensive, and we're gonna be. It's illegal. You can't use players' rights, likeness, and things that you don't have a license to do. So you can't, like, the NCAA is running into this all the time in video games and selling jerseys and shit. Like this, you can't just do that.
I know. I lost the ability to see the chat. Look, my chat froze. The last message I can see is Mitchell almost same as Booker from Blinding 90s.
You're way behind. I will let you know what they're saying.
I can't even see anything.
Create your own design. It's more than that, Adam. It's like you cannot put Michael Jordan on the image of a card. You do not have the rights to do so. Michael Jordan hasn't given you the right to do it. You can't sell something with the likeness and imagery of another person without their consent. Especially Michael Jordan. That dude has like a team of players that's like protecting the
Technically you can if it's
Oh my God, stop. Technically.
I'm gonna punch you in your face, technically.
Okay, see, I've been missing some classics from Lefko said, I'm sorry, there's zero reason to make these unless you're trying to scam. You're not Warhol. It's true. I'm gonna have to take your phone.
No, the grading companies have to protect us here. Please, grading companies, protect us.
That's all I'm saying. Here, you can read too.
A lot of it's not getting through the grading companies, Shay. Like, we've seen cases where it is happening, but the vast majority of the grading companies are rejecting, especially, like, someone DM'd me and they showed me, like, some, I don't know if they're custom cards or, like, weird cards, like, aftermarket things they sent to PSA and they rejected them. Like, they were just like, what is this? So, like, they are doing a good job of rejecting that stuff. We just sort of only see the cases where they get duped.
Yeah, and grading companies, we just got a valuation on the parent company of a grading company. These companies have a lot of financial incentive to make sure that they are keeping and preserving the integrity of their name, and that rises and falls with their ability to, among other things, ascertain counterfeit cards. So speaking from the point of view of economics, you literally could not have more incentive for a grading company to want to make sure that customs and counterfeits do not pass through their doors and receive a slab.
Responsibility of eBay. I've given up on trusting eBay to withhold standards in the hobby. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's on us. Like, yeah, we'll keep fighting the good fight, Shay, and that's all we can do. What else you got, bro?
Ton of stuff. All right, let's get to David's question.
Yeah. I haven't had enough beers.
Well, we'll get to David's question because, the chat can take more liberties than we can.
Okay,
So
yes, please. Chat, wake up, chat. We need you guys right now.
we'll let the chat go off on this. From the great Riverfront Collectibles, if you could knock out one card person in the hobby, who would it be? If you could knock out one person in the hobby. Christina will say me. Or she'll say, oh, I already could knock you out.
I think
I don't know.
he's a knockout.
Oh. If I can knock out one person in the hobby,
Someone paste some people put some damn names in the chat just so we can laugh. Come on.
yeah,
Look
let's
up.
go.
'Cause,
Get scams.
Chris and I can't say certain people that we want to say, so and I don't want to see any, oh, I love everybody in the hobby, there's nobody. Come on. David, you post me.
Okay,
Vegas
we're
Dave.
getting
Vegas Dave.
get some good submissions here.
Vegas Dave is a good answer. He's got a punchable face. Guys, I got a $2 million Derek Carr collection. What's up?
Yeah,
Could it be like Rob Kardashian and his $250,000 Tom Brady?
hey, Christina's not gonna hold back.
I think it's guys that are like flaunting their like ridiculousness.
Yeah,
Wow, we got some coming in.
yeah, that's definitely a punchable offense.
Lack of humility.
Yeah, it's just unbridled arrogance. Oh, I know somebody.
I know somebody, but I can't
I know
say it.
somebody.
Rodman.
Rodman PC. No. Look, I don't think this guy will ever see this anyway. If he does, shouldn't come as a huge shock. There's a guy who posts the same 3 RPAs of the same player
Yeah.
over and over and over again, and then specifically seeks out confrontation with people. If you know who I'm talking about, you know.
I know who you're talking about.
That guy's up there, baby.
Oh my gosh. I can't even. It's like oh my god, so gross. People
Yup,
that post
8 Everlast, you got it, baby.
people that post the same 4 cards over and over and over and over. Blez is pretty bad. I don't think he's gonna watch this either. That guy's pretty bad. Come on, bro.
Yep, you are right, sir.
You're right, Everlast, dude. It's bad. It's real bad. Knucklehead is right. There's some serious knucklehead. David, give me some fucking names, bro.
I would knock out Shay mainly because when he woke up, he'd appreciate the drama we created.
Jay's like one of the most real dudes in the hobby, man. That guy, I need to get a beer with that dude ASAP.
Yeah, and I need to give. I have a message to Shay. You are a great. You're a great collector, and you bring a great energy to the hobby. Take it from somebody who has very little hair. Do not worry about your hair. Just don't. You have great hair, man. Don't worry about it, dude. Your hair is fantastic, man.
Let's go.
You don't got to worry about it anymore, dude. It's great. It's great.
That's hilarious, man.
Someone had to say it.
Someone had to say it. Look at this guy. Zig not zag. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's what it's about though, right? Like it's about the community and the people in it, and we look out for each other. We're not about these weirdos that are pumping their own shit.
We try.
Look at Merge with Urge. I grew out my hair because of Shay. Let's go.
Well, Shay is an icon, man.
If he shaves that, if he gets a haircut now, we're all just gonna be like, what in the world? Rodman, I'll fight you in the alley, bro. Let's go. Dude, Rodman's like one of the best dudes in the hobby. Like, no doubt.
Without a doubt. Guy is a great sport. And an OG. Rodman put me in my first ever Instagram group chat. The only group chat I was in for many years was Rodman included me. Michael Jordan. We had 4 of us in that chat. Great guy.
I was thinking about that today. Like, there's so many guys in the hobby now that we like, and it's like I was thinking about who were like the OG guys that were like around. I mean, there's guys that were around way before us, but like for me, the OGs, the 2016 guys were my original friends in the hobby. Think about Grant, Waldorf Stories, Rodman, John Burleson, Spur Fan, 610 Sports Cards, Justin, Neaton. I'm gonna like totally butcher this and forget all these awesome people. Rodman, help me out, Rodman. Who am I missing? There's all these guys. It's like the guys that is just like in 2016 that we were just collecting. We were just in it for the cards, and then now it's turned out well for all of us that we've sort of had to step back and be like, holy shit, what's going on? There's all these new people coming in that we like, but like there's just that solid group that you kind of connect with.
Yeah, there's so many that you don't want to say a name and then you leave one off.
You know,
But Stephen Go was like the idol, still is. Michael, MD Farm 23.
Yep.
Rodman, obviously. Gerald. Nick. Nat.
Muller,
How can we not say Nat, right? Nat.
Michael Muller, the Grant Hill collector. I looked up to that dude. Like he was my guy where I would go to him and be like, dude, teach me how you got this amazing Grant Hill PC. How did you get the? And he was just like a total Kiki, great one, dude.
Kiki, man. Also, not a newly minted, but a Luka collector as well. So shout out to Kiki. He has a better excuse. Europe, the European connection.
Dude, we need a. You said minted, but we need like a mafia. What's that? What's the term when you made? You get made. Made man.
Well, Kiki definitely is.
Kiki's the made man. Double X the beast. There we go. Michael Muller, my man.
You remember you made it? It was you, John, and him made a video of Tim Duncan, Grant Hill, and Penny Hardaway Grails. You remember that?
Of course, man. Those are like the good old days where it's like it really was just all about the cards, and now it's turned into all these other things. But totally, those guys were like, he had Grant Hill, John had Duncan, I had Penny. It's just like pure, just so pure. There's no investing, like just three dudes collecting 90s basketball players.
Yeah, and collecting football reminded me of that a bit. The only difference was with football, it's just a different sport. Like let me say something extremely obvious. It's a different sport than basketball. So the collecting of it is just a little different. I just don't feel that there is a substitute for collecting basketball. But collecting football took me back to those days a little bit where the best cards of great players were affordable.
Yeah,
and you got fun doing it. And, if the worst case scenario is that a $3,000 card goes to $500, you're not sweating it. You're just not. And so football took me back to that a little bit. But I don't think we'll ever get those days back. I just think they're gone.
It's sad. Good old days. Get off the lawn.
What's
Can you
that?
see get off my lawn. Can you see the chat now?
I can see it on Christina's phone. The chat is
Vibrant.
the chat is vibrant. All right, so we did David's question. Kind of an anticlimactic answer. I was disappointed by the chat.
Several people posted what I wanted to see, so that's fine.
Yes, a couple people got the right answer. Lots of investing questions. Here's one, but this might be more appropriate for like a New Year's one, but we'll warm up with it. This comes from Ryan Bitter. The year in review. Compare this moment in time to the same day last year. So what's today? Today's December 19th now in my time zone. December 19th, 2020. Compared to December 19th of 2019.
Pick some cards.
What has been the most surprising change to you in the hobby?
That everything's like context, man.
Yeah.
Just pick a card. Go pick one. Pick a Luka card and watch your brain explode. You're going to want to change your mind.
So we actually do provide analytics to this effect where we can sort by annual percentage change. There's a funny one that's in first place. Mitchell Robinson, base PSA 10, with an annual percentage change of 7,200%.
Because of that one sale right there. Look at
Yeah,
that.
it must be this one sale here. Because at one point in time, the card sold for $1.25, so that's an outlier. The second one, 2013 Kaboom
Ooh.
Kobe. That
Damn.
is the second largest. So this card was $60 a year ago, and now it's $3,500. Oh my god! Jason Tatum, Concourse Base, Paul George, Bol Silver, because he also has an extreme outlier.
$10.
And now that card is just shy of $500.
Tell the hobby story of 2020 without bringing up Bol.
No, you can't. Here's a fun one. Oh, this is really fun. 2012 Select, Damian Lillard, BGS 9.5. No PSA stamp. Pop 59. This card was $6.52 a year ago. Now it is $200. It is $300. $299, and it's $300. And look at that. Unlike the Prism base chart, this chart only goes up and to the right. So maybe there's a little bit of hobby wisdom there. Select, not Prism. Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, Magic Johnson, 1981, Curry, Trey, Russell Wilson, Durant, on and on. Then we get to our first Luka, Net Marvels, Press Proof Gold, Durant, Alvin Kamara, Karis LeVert, Messi, Metcalf, Durant, Josh Allen, Kobe, another Luka, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, 2003 Upper Deck, rookie exclusives. LeBron, I believe, is the first one I've seen.
That Durant white tops is just like fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the one Gary V held up
I think it is, yeah.
a year ago.
Tatum, Shaq, LeBron Net Marvels, Josh Allen again.
You see the stats, you're like kind of surprised by some of these, but the stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie. What this really is saying, though, is that some of this stuff was just dirt cheap, and then something significant happened to move it up a bit.
But like the Luka stuff has just been like, since from last year December to now, Luka is probably like the biggest market cap jump of a player, right? His stuff has just been.
Yes. So arbitrarily setting our limit at a year, if we set it at 14 months instead, this would be a very different chart. By December of his second year, Luka had already seen a lot of gains in his market.
Okay. He had played that Laker game. You know that Laker game I'm talking about?
Yep. It was December 1st.
Okay.
Remember it well.
Yeah, that was the game where even I texted you and I was like, all right, well, I get it.
So true. The Hobbyist 23 says Manute Bol was 50 when he played in the NBA. Makes me wonder about Bol's age. I just wanted to shout out the Hobbyist 23 Dave when he belongs on that list of OGs and mentors. I've learned so much from that guy.
Totally. Believe it or not, but you and I, at one point, were noobs and we learned from other people.
Indeed. Still am a noob in many ways. In many, many ways. All right. So I think that is definitely the answer here. What's crazy last year versus this year is that everything has just absolutely gone nuts.
What's Lefko's question?
Yeah, what's Lefko's question?
I'm looking. What is it? I play favorites in this show, so deal with it.
I got one real quick in the meantime. Probably can get a quick answer.
Wait, I almost found it.
Okay. All right.
Never mind. Go ahead. Wait. If you could swap PCs with anyone in the hobby other than Nat, who would you swap with?
Josh.
It's still too easy. Josh, yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of brain in your hands.
It's still too easy. Because there's still like I could just say Stephen Go or Philip Goes. And it's so maybe a question is like somebody who has a roughly equivalent PC, who would you swap with? God, he does.
Yeah, it's just you're chomping down on the
I know.
live.
I'm
It just
hungry.
looks-
Let me think. I need a minute. Because there's some great PCs out there. I need a minute.
Yeah.
I need a minute. Bob Amtrak. Jeez, man.
I
Yeah, I'm
love
thinking-
that guy's PC, man. That guy's PC is phenomenal.
The Lucky
thinking-
Show. I want all those Lucas.
The Lucky Show? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun
The
PC.
answer for me is Tim.
Exquisite Collector? Yeah, dude.
That's like, I'm trying to think of a more like clever answer, you know? Because those are guys that are just like, obviously, like, I'd just be rich, you know? Like, I'm just rich now. I'm trying to think of like a clever answer.
Probably
think I'm-
James.
All those trays.
All those trays.
I'm thinking of like some LeBron super collector or something.
Maybe Riverfront Collectibles.
It sucks. I'll think of something. My initial answer is Tim. Kramer's got a sweet collection. That's a good one. Justin has I would probably trade with Justin. He's got like that triple exquisite. He's got some Spinatron's a good one.
Justin has that picture of that card in front of that museum.
Oh, some of these guys, like it's really, really hard to not just get like super jealous when you look at stuff, you know? You're like, God, man.
Oh, I know.
Nat is obviously the easy answer. I know that's one that we can't choose, but like, dude, if you had Nat's collection, you'd just be so sick.
If I had
Fifth
that
down.
collection, like, it would be so weird. Like, what can I do? How do I improve?
Rip all those
Rip all
boxes.
the bags.
Logo Man Shark, yep, that's a good one.
Oh, that's
Great.
a great one, yeah.
Waldorf Stores is a really good one. He's got sick stuff.
Croatia Twins, that's Kiki.
You guys are naming all the right counts for sure. Like,
Fifth down.
Tim is my answer. That's my answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
And it's like, I know that the reason, okay, so here's the reason I choose Tim. Because I know that collection was just built like total passion project. Like he's been doing it for years and years and years. And it's just like, there's no money incentive built into it. It's just like, you just got this amazing collection that took years and years to build.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Tim's.
Philip's got to be your answer.
There's one issue with that. If it
Jordan.
if it was Jordan instead of Kobe, then yeah. But it's Kobe. Kobe's great, but I wouldn't even know what to do with all those Kobes. They would be in the wrong hands, being in my hands.
True. He's got the Lucas stuff though. That Nebula. Whew.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I believe that's the greatest Luka card. So
That's
PMP Champ throwback, Prism 101.
It's a low-key best purchase of the year.
It's so funny. So it went for $40,000. It went for $40,000 at PWCC. Same auction that our Orange Prism PSA 10 went for $4,000 in.
What's the predicted value of that?
I think it's 600 because this is a fantastic new feature on Card Ladder. Let me show you the new feature on Card Ladder. This feature, when Josh showed me he added this, I was like, dude, this is so sick. Daily movement. And I was browsing the daily movement chart today, and the Nebula was number 1 because its baseline card is the Prism Silver, which it had like 3 or 4 sales yesterday. But anyway, the prediction on this card is 615,000.
It's a PSA 10 too. Oh
Yep.
my god, dude!
We don't talk about this card.
That I like that better than the black.
Me too. It's not, to me, it's not even close.
That is just like an incredible $40,000. People would just like lose their minds to pay $40,000 for that today. And at that time, it was like, oh, are you crazy? $40,000?
Yeah, no. I remember I didn't really know Phil at that time, but Steven told me that Phil was thrilled to pay that price, and we were just like, "What? Somebody just paid $40,000 for Luka, and they thought it was a steal?"
That was like a year ago, dude.
Yeah, it was not that long ago.
It was
That's
a little over.
in a calendar year, we went from like you're a crazy person to like that's the best thing, and you made the best purchase of all time. Like what the heck?
And dude, he is never getting rid of that card. That guy's collection is a true black hole. The only way to get a card out of that collection is if you have a card that he wants and you demand a trade. That's about the only way that's happening.
I got close to making a trade with him because I had something he wanted, but I got too greedy.
It happens. Ooh, Chrissy Bucket says, what is the worst looking year of Prism? Well, Christina has added every year of Prism of both basketball and football.
No, I'm still working on football. I'm on 2015.
Oh, she's still working on football.
I don't like 2019.
Yeah, let me pull up the 2019.
I think this looks a little boring.
I do like 2020 though.
My internet took a dump.
Basement life.
Basement life, indeed. Cold weather life, too.
2015, basically, what's 2014 and 2015 look like? Let me see those.
So 2014. It has these very annoying variations.
2014. I don't like that one. The Joel Embiid one. Nah.
Yep. All right. I can
Favorite is 2013 is my favorite. They followed it up with my least favorite. Yeah, that one's weird. It's like got the weird. I don't know.
Like a building background. Like it's like it's like modern art. A cheese grater.
Well, it's 2015.
Grating pizza.
Show me 2015.
2015 is Booker. So
I like that one.
yeah, 2015 is okay. 2015 is when Prism started looking like Prism.
2019 is pretty not good. Pretty shit.
Yeah, 2019 was just doing a little too much with the lines.
And that's just like I know that like this isn't part of this discussion, but the pop is just so annoying.
Go to 2016. You just showed 2019.
2014 is the worst. I think that's the answer.
So 2016 got a little colorful.
I like 2016.
Yeah. Oh, Ben Simmons' silver set an all-time high the other day too.
Yeah, David, 2014 is trash. Wait, Ben Simmons set an all-time high?
Yes, he did. So switch over to Lanier so we can see it more clearly. So the previous all-time high, well, that's 1 year. Let me make sure. Previous all-time high was in August when everything in the hobby set its all-time high, but it just barely eclipsed it yesterday or 2 days ago, a few days ago now. Just barely eclipsed it.
That's what's so humbling about the hobby. You're like, dude, Simmons, his cards are way down. And you're like, actually, he's at an all-time high.
Yeah, right. Well, the hobby, people are always up to stuff inside the hobby, and it doesn't always line up with common sense.
2018 and 2012 are definitely 2013, 2012, and 2018 are my favorites. A lot to do with the importance of those cards, but I think 2018 is nice because it's got like I really like the whole dot thing. I think they look nice.
Yeah. Oops, didn't mean to zoom in that far on my mug.
You've got some soft spots for 2018, I think.
Yeah, I might like 2018 a little bit.
Durant. Let's talk about Durant. What do you think about Durant cards?
Okay, so Durant is a situation where we can make some reasonable extrapolations based on preseason. And he's looked pretty good in preseason. He's looked pretty darn good. He's looked fast. He's athletic, quick. Looks like his old self. Now, let's talk. We want to talk about his market. One has to start wondering if the boat has been missed. What I mean by that is a lot of Durant cards are up right now. Quite a bit.
And Kyrie Irving busting out the Sage to really spice up the aura around the basketball court. I think we're going to be good there.
Yeah, so there's your hot sports card investor tip of the day. The Brooklyn Nets are a buy because Kyrie dispense Sage.
Bye. Insert flame emojis. Let's go.
It's a lock.
Oh, Refractor PSA 10 is about to do 20K.
Yeah, the last few times it's sold, it set a record, and that white refractor set a record.
50 grand. The collectibles app is auction. What is it? What's the term? Auctioning? What's
IPOing?
the word? IPOing a PSA 10 with a refractor at 12 grand, and the card's worth 20. So if you want free money,
wow. And speaking of which, on Card Lighter here, you can see that the last time this card sold, the refractor PSA 10 did about 16 grand. When was that sale? Shoot, that was just a few days ago. The prediction, what card is that using? It's just using the base. It's using historically correlated multipliers to the base. The prediction puts it at 19.2. And then I'm told that there's one there's one at 17.1 with PWCC. That's interesting. And then we got a couple of bins, OBO bins. So we'll see. How long until this one ends? It's a lot of money for a freaking sports card.
my favorite post that people make right now is, if this card's worth that, what's my card worth?
It's just done. It's done unabashedly as well, as if like.
It's gross, man.
It's what we do.
It's gross. I want to be like, oh, if the Giannis NT RPA PSA 10's worth this, what's my LeBron RPA? Like totally unrelated. Like doesn't even correlate. What's my card worth?
Like do something hilarious. Like if the Giannis Mosaic Black 1 of 1 is worth $1.2 million, what is my Christian Wood Donruss base raw worth?
And I just picture him doing like, what's mine worth? What's my it's so annoying. I'm sorry. I just have to like because they're like, oh, like this is an actual legitimate question. If the Durant PSA 10 silver chrome refractor is went up so much, what's my quad 9.5 worth?
With the head nod with it.
What's it worth? Dude, hype beast Rodman. Rodman's like, what's my MJ Ruby's worth now? If the PMG championship is 136K, what are my cards worth? This is hour 3 shit, bro.
I love this. I love this because it's so true, and because it's doubly obnoxious because it's like, we know your cards went up, guy.
You say this the best always. You always tell me, you're like, why do these guys keep posting the same card over and over? Your cards are worth a lot more. You don't need to tell us. We already know.
We know. Like, what the hell, man?
Especially, like, the cards are speaking for themselves.
They do. They do. But, I get it. Like, I'll be in group chats or whatever, and, like, we'll be talking about the price of one card, and then, oh here comes good old what's-his-name. Oh, what does that mean? My card is worth.
He does this. So what's my LeBron Darko TJ Ford truck? I love people that have a good sense of humor about their own shortcomings.
You have to. In this hobby, in a bull market like this where everybody who's been here for a few years is absolutely killing it, can we please have a little bit of modesty, even if it's false modesty? Please.
Man, I was like, I posted like that Zion base card 9.5, like some I was sort of just like getting on my little rant of like, hey, look, I got these cards too. Like anyone can buy them, and I felt kind of bad because some people were like, yeah, that card is something I actually aspire to get. So I did feel bad. So like everyone's got their levels, but like there is some like comedy to the hobby where you gotta have some fun with it.
Yeah, and the comedy is gonna comedy sarcasm. It has to have an edge if it's gonna hit. And you can ask Lameem James. Somebody's gonna be pissed. Somebody's always gonna be pissed. His mission is to piss off everybody.
He's probably gotten a lot of hate, you know.
Yeah, he's got Luca in his sights right now, so he does not discriminate.
Rodman, every group chat has that one guy where everyone's like, "Come on, bro. We've seen you post that card 10 times now. You really need to post it again?" Hey guys, did you see that auction where the PSA 10 sold? What's my PSA 9 worth? The super Yao Ming just sold. What's that make my Tracy McGrady worth? No, the best is like, yeah, that LeBron RPA just sold. What's my Yao Ming worth now?
Oh yeah, this makes me feel better doing this.
I'm gonna regret most of this tomorrow.
Yeah, that happens.
That's why this is the crossover. Like, this isn't. This material is not meant for SEC. This is crossover material.
Yeah, this is after hours.
This is hour 3.
We are solidly at hour 3.
David, if we get to hour 4, I'm gonna answer your question.
Oh, let's see if there was any other good questions that had come up here. There were. Questions.
The group chat rule number 1: don't post your image where it sticks and makes me click it with a blue outline. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the blue button.
Make it keep in chat. When you post a picture to a chat and Instagram, do keep in chat so I don't have to click it.
Yeah. Yes. Undeniably, rule 1 of group chat.
All the people that are with us right now watching are laughing with us, I hope.
Yeah, and like cringing, like, shit, that's me. I do that.
I hate that shit too. I love
Now,
These
this
are the
is why it's fun too, because damn it, I would want to know. I would want to learn of my own because I'm sure I piss people off and do dumb things. I would want to learn through humor rather than just somebody just telling me, "Hey, bud, don't know how to tell you this, but pictures that you take, they suck."
What was it I sent you this week? Oh yeah. It's just like overly saturated yellow. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
And so I can take it. I think most people can take it, but well, shit, I don't even. What do you mean I can take it? I know that they suck.
I had people DMing me about how you use a flip phone to take your pictures. Like, yo, tell your boy Chris to get a fucking upgrade of a phone. And I was like, whoa.
That's when it's become a problem. Now Josh has to deal with it.
I'm just like, hold on a second, that's my guy. But you're
don't be talking shit about his phone.
what I usually do in this situation is like go behind your back and go to Christina and say, hey, fix this shit.
That's the way to do it.
And after he did that, I immediately added a scanner to the Christmas list. So we will be upgrading shortly.
We have a scanner coming in.
That's better. That's better than you being like, what are you talking about? They're amazing looking. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's when a guy's in denial.
No, it was more like Josh messages me and I'm like, what pictures?
Yeah.
I did not give him consent to post those pictures. Dude, people are like, you have a Razr phone? Look at that. You do have an old phone though, right? Like, for real.
No, it's not that old. It's like an iPhone 6 or something.
No, you have a fucking XR, dude.
That's old, man.
What do I have?
You have an XR.
I have an iPhone XR.
You got
What is that?
last year.
What is that?
It's this. My phone is what records me for crossover. SCC.
You know how I know that you're way behind on the tech. You keep saying coding. You're like, oh, you're such a good coder. It's developer.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about.
You guys are such good coders.
You put a good HTML in there, you know. That's what I know.
Bless your heart.
I know Ahref. I know mail to colon P. I understand P for paragraph.
You're the Applebee's of technology. Bless your heart.
I'm the Applebee's of a lot of things.
Applebee's is the best, dude, because it's like you can't really hate on Applebee's, man. What a great business model.
No, yeah, I'll go to Applebee's, won't I? Yeah, I'll go to Applebee's.
They're a little behind, but you know.
Well, I knew we were in the 21st century when we were at Applebee's, and they brought out that thing that just you put your credit card in. You don't even have to talk to the server. So
Chili's does that too now. Yep.
That
at that point, you're like, "What's your job?" Oh, to bring me the food.
Right. Okay, let me get this question. This is from James. He said, "Does our generation care at all about vintage?"
God, you just made me get serious real quick.
Yeah, because this is a question that is bothering me a little bit because
Applebee's of hobby content. Dude, we are the Chipotle of hobby content.
Well, we're Chipotle for hour 1. By hour 3 is sponsored by Applebee's.
Dude, every time my wife's like, "What do you want for takeout?" and I'm like, "Chipotle," and she's like, "Seriously, we get that every week." I'm like, "Yeah, you know."
Yep.
What was the question? Vintage.
The question is, does our generation care at all about vintage?
I was actually thinking about that. You know how like we talk about how like the vintage stuff, like the 52 Mantle and stuff is kind of like not quietly, but it's like been pretty steady in growth, and like it's got this hobby base of older gentlemen that, you know, continuously buy that stuff. Is there going to be a point where like I don't want to like be grim and say that that group of buyers like literally dies off? But is that reality, or is there like a point where like the younger collector base sticks with the vintage, or is it really just gonna go down at some point?
Well, the guys who would have been collecting Honus Wagner should have died off by now.
They're not. Someone paid $3 million for that thing.
Yeah. So
explain that.
Well, I don't know. There's people who collect the athlete, and then there's people who are hobbyists. The fact that the most valuable card in the hobby does not depict someone who's anywhere near its best athlete, but it's an important card historically, is a great testament to what this hobby is built on. So, you know, Honus Wagner is the most valuable player in the hobby.
3.7 million or whatever.
Yeah, but people think like the highest grade one is in the 8-figure range now. So I don't know.
So it's almost like the hobby will always side with like the original, like the old, but it seems confusing to me. It's like eventually nobody that's alive right now, you know, like followed the career and was a fan of Honus Wagner. So like, who is buying him? Is it people that are speculating on the hobby, or people that understand the history of the hobby? How does that work?
Yeah, because buying the Honus Wagner is a huge flex. You know, that's like jumping to the top echelon, going to the top of the hobby pyramid, buying that card. And so, you know, that's purely based on history, hobby history. That is the grail of all grails, is the Honus Wagner T206. So as long as that prestige attaches itself to owning that card, that will always be the case. And here, you and I just talking about it are carrying on the prestige of that card. So something in us has made us accept it, but Maybe you just get to that point. Maybe after somebody's been in the hobby for like 40 years and they're just like, yeah, I've seen it all, collected everything. The thing that really matters to me is I want to own like that original prestigious card. Like that's how I really like go out with a bang. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, but Twoosh really like has hit what I was thinking is like, so what cards, maybe not like today, like 2019 cards, but like cards that we sort of have accepted as modern or like cards for our era. What are those cards? What cards from there are going to be, the Honus Wagners, the 52 Manels, the 86 Fleer Jordans? What are those cards going to be? And that's what people maybe you start thinking ahead that much. You get to that level where you're like, what cards should I be thinking about 40 years from now where it's going to just carry this insane legacy? And I'm extremely biased. I own one of these. I'm totally biased. You can say I'm pumping it, but the '03 Exquisite LeBron for me is that I just think it's just that card. It's just so important.
Yeah,
Baseball.
definitely. Although Carvin would say it's not the first RPA, there was like some other like a football one or something. It's like the first RPA to stand the test of time. It's the beginning of that RPA lineage. And it's the first year of Exquisite. And Exquisite completely changed the hobby. So like there's hobby history to it. There's player legacy to it. There's for all those people who experienced the hobby and like those were $500 a box when they first came out, and just the way it shocked and awed people that could be the case. I think 2003-04 Exquisite probably has as clean of a claim to hobby history relevance decades from now as any product. I think because you got the right mix of features. You got all the firsts are right. LeBron's first year cards, Exquisite's first year cards, the first like real high end RPA, all that stuff.
Totally. People are, I don't want to say prospecting, but people are speculating that the PSA 10 86 Fleer Jordan is kind of that card where it's so safe. It's never gonna really like leave collectors' minds and 50 years from it's just always gonna be there. But there's just the pop is high enough where the supply of it can increase in certain spurts of time where it can actually like bring the price of it down. We've seen that several times over and over, but like the long term of it is just so strong that people are always going to want to own the PSA 10 Fleer, Michael Jordan rookie. But now it's getting like 200K plus where it's like there's 300 of them.
Yeah. Card has had a very volatile sales history. Like among the hundreds of Michael Jordan cards that I think about, it's like the most volatile one, which is funny because it's also thought of as being a very safe one. Yeah. But yeah, population is a big issue with that card. I believe there's well over 20,000 copies graded with PSA.
Jeez.
It's a very available card. That set has been graded 260. The cards from that set have been graded 266,000 times.
What about 2018 Prism?
Yeah, okay. So Jordan has just about 20,000 total graded copies of PSA. All right.
Lucas, more than that.
Let's do 2018 Prism.
There's more graded for 2018 Prism than Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. Am I crazy?
I think we probably have gotten just about there. Oh, the pop just crossed over 15,000.
Yeah. Someone posted that earlier. What's the total? Can you click the...
It's okay, so 153,000 cards.
So not quite.
Not yet.
But still, like, dude, it's like, I'm no like math wizard, but that's like 32 years later.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's gaining fast.
Yeah. Well, 2019 is even more.
Is 2020 going to be even more?
Oh, that was a question somebody asked. Good.
I feel like no.
No, I don't think it would be. Okay, so
Oh, what?
oh, wow. So 2018 is at 155, 153, 154. 2019 is at 204. And PSA, look, it's still loading. Oh my God, it just froze.
So the question I have that everybody has is like, in 10 years, in 15 years, what are we going to look back on today and be like, man, I should have tripled down on cards. And because honestly, dude, this is what I've been saying for years on my channel. I don't want to like claim stake to this, but like I've been saying that cards are going to eventually get to the point where they're accepted culturally, on the level of like art and shoes, like the sneakerhead flip culture, and like where people accept cards as like part of modern day culture, not just as like a hobby or a way to make money, but like it's part of your culture where athletes own cards, people have them in their house. It's like a fully accepted thing that it's not a nerd thing anymore. It's not a hobby. It's like a thing that people do. That's the level to me where cards really like take off. Not the funds, not the auctions and the stuff. It's more about that like everyday man who is like accepting cards as like a cultural phenomenon. Are we getting closer to that point? And is there more room to grow?
Hmm.
That's deep.
That is deep. As much as I might not like this, I do think the commoditization of cards lends itself to that. So as cards become more and more thought of as stock certificates for players, it becomes more and more understandable for people who might not otherwise be able to connect to the hobby. But I think inevitably anybody who does connect to the hobby does start to sort of like it for the same reasons we all do. But I don't know. This is just such a mysterious question, and it's a very hard one to answer being somebody who just is obsessed with the hobby. It's like, how could you not like this stuff? Just how can you not like it? Especially as sports become bigger and more important every year. They just become such an important part of our social fabric.
We're getting close because like a lot of my friends, the barometer is like, what does like the average person think of it? A lot of my friends initially thought it was a joke. Then they started to see like that I was making money or whatever, and they said now their interest has peaked. Now some of those friends are involved in it, and then like the more further reaching friends, like a little bit like the outer skirts of disbelievers, are saying they're asking for updates on it. What's your collection worth today versus last time we talked? Or are you still doing that? Is that still a thing? I'm hearing more about it. They ask me because they hear something about it. So then it's like, what's the next level? Where like, it's not just me as like an influencer in my circle. It's like the next outer ring of that is just like the average man who has no connection to any card person. They hear about it. I feel like we're getting closer to that. Like
Yeah.
we're getting to these curves where we're talking about with Jake, where like you're hitting these peaks and these valleys of enough people know about it. We're getting close.
Yeah. So, and I think the future is still kind of yet to be determined. I think so. Like, what made cards a little bit silly, obnoxious, was when they were on the Home Shopping Network, when they were being passed off as stocking stuffers, when they were seen as a companion to Legos, or they would be right on a shelf next to a beach ball at Walmart or something. They were just seen as these pure products so like I think like we as content creators have to decide, are these products or is this culture? if it's culture, then the durability and the legitimacy of it will both be very strong. If they're products, then then this is just like a corporate funnel, and it's just let's just sell as many of these as we can. Let's just unload all this stuff, and these are just widgets or whatever. These are just made for people to consume, and eventually they're gonna get tired of it. So I think like the way we conceive of sports cards is very important, and like the way we're doing sports card now is very, very different than how they were done 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. These are no longer like product. This isn't the McDonald's business model anymore. We just make as much of it as you can and sell as much of it as you can. Now the thing that sells cards is culture. The culture of sports cards is what sells the cards. But also like what will be the tone? So like what made me think about the Home Shopping Network stuff was what will be the tone of the first mainstream TV show that talks about sports cards? What will be the tone of it? Will it be a guy on Home Shopping Network selling you mystery boxes of cards? Or will it be people connecting sports cards to athletic performance, talking about the culture, talking about the community? Like, I think we have two very clear and distinct paths, and like we've never even had a mainstream outlet talking about cards in the concept of what they've become today, which is like these cultural artifacts and investments and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, I can't possibly top that. So you're getting on a really sweet rant where it's like you're very meta, and that's good stuff.
I've had a few rants tonight.
There's no right answer, right? Like we're just sort of speculating and guessing, and we have some biases towards how we feel about the hobby. And I've said this to Hagedorn like 100 million times, but like, and you've said it a bunch. It's about the culture, right? Like culture and society and social norms of how this stuff works is really where we go to the next level. It's not about the dollars and cents and commodity, but the culture and is it cool, right? Like these people that hit these mass numbers of followers and stuff, like people like Kanye and the Kardashians and stuff, that stuff hits because it's like a cultural relevance thing. It's not like a commoditized product. It's like we gravitate towards that stuff because it's culturally relevant, and it like is some sort of relation. It relates to us better, right? Like we don't just watch it because we can make money or it's some product or some corporate fucking thing. It's cultural.
Yeah, there were signs we should have seen, like to talk about the Honus Wagner again for a second. I'm pretty sure the owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks owned or owns that card, and
the puppy.
Yeah, and the owner of the New York Mets is heavily involved in sports cards. One of the owners. I don't know how their ownership structure works. I know that there is a person who's involved in the ownership of the Mets who's very wealthy, who's involved in cards. And these were like signs that like, dude, these guys aren't buying these items as if they're, just stuff that get put in a bike spoke. These guys treat these cards as cultural artifacts or as art. But art is not a perfect metaphor for cards, because art is connected to aesthetics and design and artistry. And those things matter to cards, but cards are connected to sports in the way that art is connected to the artist. Cards are connected to the athlete. So like it's uncharted territory. We can come up with pretty close comparisons, but it's just uncharted territory. And the people who are carrying the torch are all of us. But yeah, so Twoosh, I mean, you're right, dude. And somebody needs to make that vision happen, where like you have people who are true sports fans, who know about sports and who love sports, and people who know about sports cards and love cards and love it for the culture of it. You know, hopefully we can be those people. But if it's not us, let it be somebody who checks the right boxes. You have to think like, okay, the NFL Network runs fantasy football program after fantasy football program. You just have to think that there's space on one of these networks for
Sports cards.
30 minutes of sports cards. Yeah, and sports cards like let you have takes about sports that are just spicier than they would be just in the context of just simply analyzing a game. You know, like
Right.
talking about Taylor Horton Tucker is more interesting in the context of what it means to the hobby than simply just what it means to athletics.
Yeah. I mean, shameless plug, but that's what we're going for with SEC, right?
Yes, it's exactly what we're going for.
Conclusion of, I mean, it's in the title, but like sports cards and culture, you know, like it's kind of the three and how they reach an apex together. The thing though that, yeah, what's up, Rodman? This sort of like the other side of it that makes me nervous is like it's already hit the floors of Giannis, Rob Kardashian, the owner of the Mets. Like it's hitting these points of people that are at the highest possible level where like, yeah, we can like go more horizontal and hit more masses, but like we're starting to hit on people and get the attention of people at the highest peaks of where it could go. Like LeBron mentioned it, Giannis mentioned it. These are like two of the biggest players in all of sports, and they've at least acknowledged it. You know, like how much more can we go? Like Gary Vee's always like, oh, wait till Kanye or Drake posts a picture of his cards. We've kind of getting to that point already. Like what happens when we run out of steam, you know?
Dude, we are getting to levels and values of sports cards that well, God, I've said this every year for the past 4 years, but we're getting to values of sports cards where a Giannis card is $1.2 million. I mean, dude. Okay, so before he signed his Supermax, I looked up his net worth. Obviously, his Supermax changes his net worth tremendously. It was $60 million. It's like literally Giannis could have bought that card and 1/60th of his net worth would have been tied up in that card.
Yeah. Yeah, because like like let's just play this role where like literally one of the world collects sports cards. In that scenario, like Jeff Bezos would just like sneeze out some of these cards and like he would just own like these cards and he would pay 50 million to have them. So like there is like there like we're obviously not at the ceiling of like literally everyone collecting sports cards, but I feel like to your point we're getting close to that where a reasonable amount of people that could possibly collect sports cards are getting to that point where they're spending $1 million on a card.
Okay, and I don't love this answer either, but I have to admit it. So I was listening to it must have been Bill Simmons, and he was talking to Mark Cuban. It was this discussion with Mark Cuban. They were talking about how Mark Cuban is just a very unique circumstance in NBA team ownership now because he's one guy who owns the team. And that's similar to Ballmer, who owns the Clippers. But this is atypical. The way that teams are now owned is they are co-owned by groups, sometimes pretty sizable groups of people own NBA teams. Okay, why is that? It's because the teams have become so expensive. One of the things that was being speculated on was that the NBA, in order to like basically loan itself money, was thinking about creating an expansion, a new expansion franchise and charging it like $3 billion or some number of billions in order to come into the league. And then, the league would use that money to offset revenues that are going to be lost probably because of COVID. Okay, so the comparison here to sports cards is that when cards go up in value, similar to the way that NBA franchises have gone up in value, when those are you came back at a good time. So like when cards go up in value, the same way as NBA franchises go up in value, what happens is this: now cards are owned by 5 people instead of 1. Just like an NBA franchise now has become so expensive that it has to be owned by multiple people instead of being owned by just one person. So like
Yeah.
that might be the answer. Like fractional ownership might be the freaking answer to this question, in the same way that NBA team ownership has been fractionalized.
Yeah. We're getting super meta and my phone's about to die and I really want to save this, so we're gonna have to
Okay.
end it here.
Let's call it. This was a great one.
But yeah, still room to grow in the hobby, still entry points for everybody, but take that with some risk built in, that like we are getting to a point where tons and tons of people are into it. And because we're getting into fractional, that means that it's so expensive that people can't afford it.
Yeah.
I watched that whole Bill Simmons Cuban interview today, so I'm glad you touched on that. Go check out Sports Cards Culture. We launched a new YouTube channel today, new content stream that Chris and I are really excited about, and Christina's on there as well.
Yay!
We're excited about that. Nick, the legend, Nick, great production, great video editing, amazing stuff. We'll be back next week for crossover. We got card ladder stuff continuously coming out. We got the app right around the corner. We got merch in the works. I'm actually going to get on the merch account tonight,
Nice.
tomorrow, add some quotable shirts if you don't mind.
Go for it. Yes.
And we'll get this shit going to the next level. Anything else to add before we close?
That's it, man.
All right, guys. Love all of you. Amazing support. You guys are the best. We'll be back next week. See you later.
See ya.